You know, it's a particularly interesting Tuesday night. Um, Obviously, there's a lot going on right now, so I decided to go ahead and dress a little down. Forgive my computer or my laptop fan. It's going to be a little loud tonight because there's a lot of programs running in the background. Hang on one second, y'all. All right. So, welcome back to the True Seekers Live podcast. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, then I'd like to kind of just introduce you to what's going to be going on tonight. It's not a typical live stream by any sense of the matter, nature, term, or reference. Usually we talk about a lot of the things and the issues that happen in the Black community, and we focus primarily on Black males, things of that nature, right? Relationships, socioeconomics, sociopolitics, things of that nature. We're not going to talk about that as much tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that's much more different, right? We're going to talk about doxing. But first, I want to cover a few comments. The first comment's made by Lynn Edwards. Lynn Edwards says, y'all mammies and mules are welcome to come to Taz's channel and hit the links to discuss y'all issues. I'm sorry, you issues. Weak ass bitches. It's Lynn inviting us over to Taz's channel there. So if you are new to the channel, then I need to go ahead and kind of give you and brief you on the synopsis or what's going on as far as this channel and between the drama that happens in the sector, and just to kind of bring you up to pace, up to speed on what I'll be talking about tonight. Because if you haven't heard about this, you're going to be a little lost, right? So I've been doxed recently. Doxed, if you're not familiar with the term, is where somebody places your credentials or your documents, as it's been affectionately dubbed or term referenced to in the past, online, particularly your location and or address references and things of that nature, to where everybody can find you. And if you're a person of popularity or somewhat celebrity status, then being doxxed can obviously be something that can be very negative to your life, right? Very negative to your life. So I've been doxxed right now. I think the video has close to 23,000 views. So on one end, hey, I drink a cup of coffee to being doxxed. On the other end, it brings a very interesting phenomenon, right? A very interesting phenomenon here. And I see people in the chat saying having your public social media is not doxing. Naker by Anon. Thank you, Anon. Regardless, or irrespective of how you feel, it is doxing if that's not the purpose of having that potential to happen, which is a social media of mine to be on this channel or to be on YouTube, period. That wasn't the intention, right? But that'll be taken care of in the future. Don't worry about that. We're not going to talk about that right now. People we're going to talk about tonight are going to be a group of people, specifically and led by another group of people, if you will, right? I think it's time that we go ahead and be completely honest. What about you? I think it's time we go ahead and be completely honest. I appreciate all the support in the chat. I appreciate all the moderators that are going to be moderating very, very, very severely tonight. Let's go ahead and do our national day of the day today. That's right. We're going to do a little bit of, before we dive all the way into it, we're going to do a little bit of interesting. Right? Today is Melbourne Cup Day. Melbourne Cup Day. That's right. I'm not too sure exactly what that is. I think it's a horse race. There we go. Australia's Melbourne Cup Day holds the first Tuesday in November. The Flemington Race Course in Melbourne, Victoria, is November 2nd this year. I can't talk right now. It's a state holiday. Most schools and businesses shut down to let everybody take part. It's also, and I don't know what this exactly is, All Souls Day. There we go. So a centuries tradition in Western Christianity observed All Souls Day. It's Day of the Dead today. Just some very interesting holidays. Election Day. There you go. If you're political, all right. National Deviled Egg Day and Plan Your Epitaph Day. Jesus. All right. I probably should have checked the holidays today, but as it goes. Organic Black with the $11.11 super chat to continue support. Mammy number one on that super chat and that username. I appreciate that, Organic Black, and I do really want to say thank you for your continued support and for everybody that continues to support the channel tonight as we go forward with this message that we're going to speak on and speak about. I know my microphone's a little louder than usual, but you'll have to forgive me. There's a lot of things going on in the background, so there's not much I can do right now. Right? Not much I can do right now. Not much I can do right now. Go tend to talk in your real voice. This is definitely my real voice right here. This is definitely my real voice. So I want to go ahead and address a comment here. All right, let's get on to it. I've received a lot of comments. Obviously, it goes without needing to be said. But this particular comment is an interesting comment, so I wanted to show it. The comment is from Skelly. It says, "See how fast they turn on you when your way doesn't go their way." This is at the Space Ghost Perp interview, where it was the F the Honest Truth edition, where we shared and explained how I am, or how I was really wrong for what happened in that interview, and I agreed and I acknowledged a lot of what was going on, right? But we're not talking about that tonight. Tonight we're talking about something that's a lot more heavy, right? Talking about something that's a lot more heavy. If you haven't seen the video, you might not know what I'm talking about, but you'll be able to see the video if you want to search hard enough for it. I want to go ahead and lead into this next comment here because both of these comments are really important for what I'm getting ready to say. Right. These are both really important from what I'm getting ready to say. And we'll be opening up the panel really soon as well for anybody that wants to drill or grill. The Divine One asked me this. Hi, THT. Of course, Nyla and Taz said, of course, Taz and Nyla says drilled you on their channels. Jesus. However, I think you shouldn't run from your past as a previous Manosphere content provider. I believe in growth. Could you do a video discussing your transition from as recent as December 2020, the Manosphere talking points and red pill positions to your current pro-black women's stance? I think this is important as to illustrate that maybe people shouldn't just write off men in the Manosphere, that they maybe can grow too. Right. So let me address this. There's first of all a polarity that happens here, right? And so there's obviously two different sides of the story. Where one side is a black male saying, "Well, hey, welcome back to the Manosphere," essentially, right? And I've gotten a lot of comments and even an email jokingly about a guy saying, "Hey, welcome back to the Manosphere. We told you this would happen. Truth. We told you this would happen." But obviously, there are ladies in the chat that do support. Unfortunately, they have to joke about it in a negative nature, coined the term mammy and things of that nature, but there are ladies that do support. However, this is just another instance of the manosphere or the group of men who don't like, who hate women, who hate black women, who hate whatever it might be, the group of men who I used to be a part of. And that's what this video showed. So this video was a part of my Facebook feed and taken from 2020. I'm not sure if it's from 2020 or whether it's uploaded 2020, but either way, it's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter because it's me in the videos and in the videos that are to be completely honest, unmemorable to me. I don't remember seeing a lot of them, but I had the clips sent from y'all to me, and I also watched a good portion of the video on Nyla's channel right now, right? The video exposing me. So I've seen a good amount of what it is for the most part, right? So explaining my mindset back when I was in the manosphere and when I did hate women and black women and when I talked negatively about black women and the cuties episode, that's one thing that I heard a lot of. We'll explain the cuties thing and you talking about how bad black single mothers are. Well, once again, I was a part of the manosphere. I've done videos about it back in the past. And these are videos that you obviously haven't seen. If you're new to the channel, you haven't seen, and this is going to be definitely a shock factor to you. But for a lot of people who've been around for a long time, then they've already kind of known about this manosphere background that I've had. I was a part of the manosphere. I was a part of actively hating black women. Absolutely, I was for a long time because I was A, hurt, B, I was a loser. Obviously, if you can't tell, right? I lived in a car and I talk like a hoodlum and like a hood rat, if you will, quote unquote, right? I talk like I didn't have much sense, and people were saying, I think I saw in the chat, and I saw a couple of comments saying you were like two different people. It was like a trip watching you, and I think they were even joking in the chat saying he's like a nigga, right? He's like a nigga, and so I have been on both sides, but more than that, I think that you saw the growth and you saw just the change and how sharp and dynamic of a change it was as far as the quote unquote code switch that I had and as far as why I am or who I am, the person I am now compared to who I was then, right? And so make no mistake about it, I was a very different person back then, a very different person. A very, 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 very different person. A person that was still a very kind person, I think, for the most part. And in a lot of areas, I needed a lot of help. And it was very obvious and very apparent from that video that I still needed a lot of help. And I was in a lot of pain. And it's ironic because even as I said those things about black women and black mothers and things of that nature, it was a lot of black women who were single mothers or who were mothers or who were just weren't the traditional, quote unquote, stereotypical or prototypically ideal version of a quote unquote American married woman who were helping me and taking care of me, right? It was literally black women who were helping me and taking care of me. But even then, I was so hurt. I was so just demolished by, heartbreak or whatever it might be. And I had so much hatred and rage for the woman who ended up breaking my heart that the Manosphere ended up preaching a lot to me and speaking a lot to me, which is why I ended up being a part of the Manosphere so long, which is why I know so much about what the Manosphere speaks about, their talking points and things of that nature. Right. So I know one of the other comments was that, well, it's December 2020. That's not even a year ago. You can't change that quickly. And I think it's an interesting question because it starts to address and bring another question into perspective, which is, well, when is change appropriate then in this case? When is change necessarily appropriate? How long does it take for somebody to change? And I think that's a question that obviously a lot of you are going to have a lot of different answers to, whether or not you think that I'm pandering or if I'm genuinely honest about my change or genuinely honest about the way I see black women in today's view or in 2021. That's for you to debate, right? And I wish you farewell if you decide that you want to support Taz as your mantra, as your ideal, somebody that wants to support and fight for black women. When literally, once again, we've already discussed that there are things that you can look up on YouTube. I'm not going to provide links to them because I have the links available to provide, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to risk anything else with my channel at this point, to be quite frank and honest with you. But you can look up both sides of our stories and you can see my side of the story, in this case on Nyla's channel, or you could just Google or look up on YouTube Nyla Says, look up Taz exclusives and learn about them as well. And I think you'll find some pretty interesting things as far as everybody goes. And I make this point not to just necessarily dig into them specifically or exclusively, but I need you to know and understand that content creators that you follow are very, very, very different people online than they are offline. And I'm not just making excuses for anything that I said, because I think quite honestly what I said beforehand was horrible. I think it was absolutely horrible. And Dimitri, I appreciate the $10 super chat. THD, you have admitted to your past, right? Matured and took full responsibility. There's a Manosphere playing checkers. Yeah, definitely. I understand that. I appreciate the donation and contribution, but this is something we have to address because we have to kind of talk about this with new subscribers and ladies who are going to see the video, who haven't seen the video yet, whatever it might be. And so I want this video to be completely honest and out there, right? A lot of guys and a lot of people think, well, oh, the act's up, so I know he's going to end up going right back to the Manosphere. He's made enough money right now, as if I've just made, a ton of money, and he's just going to end up going right back. He's made his, tens and tens of thousands, and he's going back to the Manosphere. And that's not the case. And my stance is going to stay the same. Obviously, my channel is going to continue to diversify as I'm going to continue to talk about politics, pop culture, sports, and things of that nature. But I will continue to also talk about this as well. But so here's what I'm getting down to, right? How can somebody change so quickly? Well, I don't know how long it takes for somebody to change, right? All I know is that when things happen to me in my life that cause change, usually it happens really quickly, and it's a brick wall type of effect where all of a sudden I realize, dang, something's kind of off. And then I start to happen to think of different types of scenarios to encompass a different lifestyle in my life to adequate for the change that I realized was missing, right? So for me, that was the change that happened one night when I had a big realization, right? After I was in the Manosphere, I said, this isn't right. I'm gonna stop making videos on this because I realized something that night. Something happened with me. So whether or not you choose that's quick enough, that's fine. I understand. Once again, sayonara if you want to head out. If you think you found your mantras, then by all means, don't let me stop you. Please don't let me stop you. All right. So I changed, right? Very fancy, fairly fancy fairy. That's tough to say. Said Taz threatened to slap a YouTuber, a black female, called the cast life or no? Oh, okay. I take your word for it. I say that to say, listen, nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. We all have history. We all have a past. Now, listen, you don't have to worry about a domestic violence charge with me, right? I'm not going to hit you. That's for sure. I've never hit anybody in my life, right? I've never hit anybody in my life. So I know, and once again, I'm not trying to just play dirty. Once again, you can see my past. My past is 1000% out there, and I'm sure I'll be attacked for making this video. But this is the fact of the matter. This is the fact of the matter here, right? This is the fact of the matter, right? This all started as one thing, and originally I just ended up reading a question where I talked about this dude's criminal history, and then from talking about his criminal history, which is apparently already online, he decided that it was time to bring into light my government name as well as where I work at, in an attempt to ruin my life, right? In an attempt to essentially ruin where I work out. And let's start to be honest about this, all right? Let's start to be really honest about about a couple of things here, and we're going to start to cover it a bit, right? At what point do we start to kind of acknowledge really what the manosphere says, that there might be some truth in it, right? They put the address of my work that was on Facebook. Obviously, I use my Facebook solely professionally for the most part, right? Now I do, right? But they put the address of my workplace on online and attempt for people to dox it or whatever it might be. At what point do we start really talking about the black manosphere and saying, you know what? At what point do we start talking about the manosphere and saying, you know what? At what point do we start being honest? Cameron said, "Why do they hate you so much?" I'm not sure why exactly. I think because, and listen, let me be honest about this. YouTube for some people is like literally all they have to do, right? YouTube for some people is their 1000%. Like, this is it. This is the only way they make a living. This is the only way they make money. I'm a licensed. I'm a licensed. Obviously, no, everybody knows I work at Farmers Insurance, and regardless of whether or not I decide to stay or leave, I could leave. I could leave. Hey, I could get fired. Who knows, right? But regardless of whether I decide to stay or leave, or you end up getting fired, I'm really okay for the most part. Like, I'm financially decent. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, right? I'm okay. So it's not gonna hurt me. I'm gonna be okay financially. But I think for the most part, this YouTube thing is really financial for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people don't have anything else to fall back on, and this is most content creators. This isn't me. I'm okay now. Y'all saw where I was a couple years ago. You saw what I looked like. You saw what I acted like. You saw the area that I was living in. Listen, I'm fine. I'm 1000% fine. I'm good to go. Um, uh, we've been talking about, legalities and things in the back end as far as actual whatever it might be, and so we're discussing. We're all getting okay as far as everybody on my end, and everybody that that needs to be taken care of, right? So we're all good. But yeah, you can't just take somebody's workplace and address and then just put that online and say, oh, well, it's public record. And so whatever it might be, well, it's technically not public record because my profile is private. Now, you might have had access to it through whatever way possible, but that just shows the dedication of how much they wanted to essentially put my address out there to cause harm to me, or to cause me to have people to call my job and to get me fired or whatever it might be. Like I said, either way, I'm okay. Truly, I'm okay either way. Whatever it comes down to, whether smoke to smoke or whether financial loss in the form of losing a job, I'm not going to catch a stain as far as losing my financial, I'm sorry, my relationship with um insurance and my license. That's not going to affect it at all. I'll be okay. I'll always be able to have a job doing what I do, fortunately. So, but that's their attempt. That's what they thought. That's his response, was to, you know what, I'm going to try and ruin this dude's life, because essentially, since he talked about my domestic violence past, he's trying to ruin my life. So that's why they hate me so much, right? They're trying to just give you back that same treatment. Since I'm taking money away from him, right? Since they see people donating and cash apping, and they see that I've upgraded the studio and I've been talking about this, and it threatens them. I think this threatens a lot of content creators, and there's competition in a lot of content creation spaces on YouTube. And this isn't just the people I'm talking about now, obviously Taz and Nyla, but this is people in general. When people see something, or when they see money, potentially, especially money exchanging, and they're in the same space, or at least they were in a space where that used to be the money that they used to get, they're going to have a problem with that. So I think some of it's that. I think some of it's, once again, humiliation. I think some of it's anger. I think some of it's trying to just blatantly take me down, make me look foolish. In what area, in what world do we somehow make somebody look bad for getting a job, being an insurance agent at Farmers Insurance? Pretty good insurance agent job, to be honest with you. They make pretty decent money, right? In what world do we somehow try and make somebody look bad, from somebody who's living in a car to somebody who's living comfortably now, who can who can do okay, right? Who's doing okay, if I'm being completely honest with you, right? How do we demonize that? Well, somehow Taz and Nyla have found a way to try and demonize you for doing better in life. But that's their main goal. They don't want you to solve anything or do better in your life. And that's the main problem that they have, once again, with me. They see that there is an upgrade happening, a shift going. And because for whatever reason I didn't pay homage, or I didn't check in, or I don't know, whatever it might be, there's a thing that goes on in the music industry. When you touch down at somebody's in somebody's city, you have to pay the guys who are like the biggest gangsters or mobsters in that city. You got to check in. You got to pay them so you can perform in that city or whatever. I feel like they don't think I checked in with them appropriately enough. In reality, I just didn't know who they were, but they just took that as severe disrespect, right? And they've been going off on me ever since. So if you're new to my channel, this isn't the first time we've had an instance, if you will, right? This is the second instance at this point. And so they have a severe disdain or problem with me. And in this case, this is an attempt to essentially remove me from the space, to remove my channel in its entirety, to remove my credibility in its entirety, and to place my life and lives of other people, potentially coworkers, in danger. Right. So it's going to be handled adequately on every front. Especially down here in Texas. And I think the most interesting thing about it is that if Taz would have asked me straight up where my address was, Taz, if you would have just asked me where I live, I would have given you my address, and we could have seen each other face to face. We could have recorded a fight, put it on YouTube. We could have done, anything. We could have handled it a number of different ways, right? And so I know he's going to rant and rave about this and this and that. But that's what I would have been willing to do if you really wanted to handle it that way. But the way that he tries to do it, the way that they're trying to make it look and humiliate me and do this to this and this and this is the first instance that they've tried to do this. They've done this to other content creators in the past, right? They've done this to Uppity Unicorn in the past. They've done this to other people in the past. Look it all up for yourself. I'm not going to give you any YouTube reference, but we need to start truly identifying and answering the question of whether or not the Manosphere has any merit. Maybe some things the Manosphere say are true. The same thing that Pink Pill ended up waking me up by saying, and me realizing that, what, they are saying some true things. Maybe I need to take a step back. Maybe we need to take a step back and start to have a more honest discourse or dialogue or conversation on this channel with guys who are in the Manosphere, with guys who think that women are the ultimate enemy. It's starting to become apparent to me that there might be points on both sides, because the more we start to have these instances, issues, the more I start to have these debacles and problems with fellow content creators who are in the same space that we're in, who are in the same space that I'm in, the more I start to realize that there's more going on here. A lot of y'all aren't going to like for me to say that, but at this point, I don't think there's much more I could say that's going to piss you off. If you're writing for me, I appreciate you. Visual Visions for the $10 super chat says, I'm rating with you, Truth. I love your content, and I feel like it's jealousy going around. A lot of jealousy. Definitely. I appreciate you, Visual Vision. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yoruba Queen says, I want you to apologize to Taz and Sin, or I will call your job and get you fired. Yoruba, that's fine. You can call as much as you'd like to. Dita Rell says, I thought Dita Rell says something before. Regina says they've done this before. Something. There's a lot of comments now. Mods, let me know. Tag me if you want to. Tag me if you want to do it on slow mode, because there are a lot of chats. Be Shorter, there we go. Be Shorter, thank you for the super chat. It says, bro, it was more than a dox. It was like a psyops to try and throw you. Keep winning, growing, THT. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's pretty bad, right? It's pretty bad what they did, to be completely honest with you. And as far as the timing, I just want to show one other thing right here. A lot of people are saying, oh, you know what, he's been doing this recently. He hasn't been doing this for a long time. I'm going to share you a video that I made on January of 2020, and the name of this video is Why Black Women Need Guns. Now, I made this video, and this video is private right now, but I just want you to see exactly my mind state, right? And this was made, once again, January 16th in 2020. Let me stop sharing this so I can make sure that you all can see it. And I have been talking about Black women arming themselves, Black women starting to take better care of themselves, Black women and their experiences going on in the streets. This is stuff that I've been doing for a long time, right? This isn't anything new necessarily. I just decided to change my entire message because I started recognizing and realizing that I myself was a bigger part of the problem than the solution, right? So once again, January 16th, 2020, this is the actual video. I can play it. Right. It described a woman who was shot in her driveway. This was the woman here. Right. So this whole 2020 argument of truth can't change quick enough because of 2020, this and that. I was already in this mindset and mind frame, but you have to understand I was still in the Manosphere at this time. But even then, there was still something that I was looking at and realizing that I was like, okay, there's a deeper problem here. But I was still in the Manosphere. I still made videos on both sides, but it was 2020, right? The beginning of 2020. Right. So I appreciate that. Be Shorter. I appreciate the $50 super chat. $50 super chats from Jazz and Justice. Thank you, Jazz and Justice. Says, so you mean to tell me you actually have a real job? I appreciate that, Jazz and Justice. Yeah, I do have a real job, and somehow I'm being shamed for working at Farmers Insurance. Somehow I'm being shamed for it. I don't know how I'm being shamed for having a real job. And like I said, this is, I think, what a lot of this beef stems from, is that these content creators end up just doing YouTube fully, full time. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think that that's great, but somehow it ends up being a competition, and you're seen like as a threat when you're in the same space as somebody and you have the same message. And I don't know what ended up happening, but somehow things just went really left for us, right? Really left, to where now there's like real life consequences that could be had for both sides in this case. And whenever there's real life consequences, I got to be really careful, because this is my real life, and I'm not trying to ruin my real life for the rest of my real life. So I have to be really careful. But yeah, that's my thing right there. Somehow we pin me to be the bad guy, when I thought that A, changes what we were trying to do with people. I thought that B, changes what we wanted to see with people. But I'm starting to realize that I think both sides have this love affair with blood sport. Both sides, both black women and both black men, have this love affair with seeing each other be crucified. I don't know what kind of torment happened, but both sides love each other being tormented and tortured, and they love contributing to both of those sides as well, by the whole and by the majority. Now, I think on this channel it's interesting because we have a very interesting thing that happens. We have people who come and they kind of leave their egos at the door. We have people who come and they check their mentality, they check their past history of trauma and abuse at the door, and they walk in and they say, you know what, this is a good space and I like the discussions that are here. But by and large, I think a lot of us even have to face retribution for being A, the type of people that enjoy the content here, but B, the type of people who welcome the content, because other people will come in and tell us how bad this type of content is, right? The fact that, oh, well, this type of person has this type of history. Well, if this type of person can be forgiven for their 12 or 13 domestic violence abuse charges, or whether allegations, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is at this point, if they can be forgiven, how can another person not be forgiven for saying that all black moms are terrible moms? Which I did say, and that's a horrible thing to say. I know not all black single moms are terrible moms, but I was a different person back then, and a much more different person. However, having said that, there are still layers to the shit, as Drake has said. And at a certain level, I think we need to start being completely honest as to what is equal as the charges, or the burden, or the weight of the sins of the charges as they carry. For instance, if I steal a lollipop from Walmart, I'm not going to get charged the same way as me stealing, or me knocking out an old woman and stealing her purse. Those charges have two different jail times. So right now I'm being charged for something that was really bad to say. I think it was terrible to say. And I think that me being the type of person that I was in that time needs to be addressed. However, what's my solution to that? Do I start saying the bad things again? Do I start going back to the Manosphere ways? Is it time for me to go back to the Manosphere? Is it time for me to say, oh, you guys know what? You were right. A lot of them ended up not liking what I had to say. They didn't take my apology, so it's time to go back. No, I'm not going to do that, because that's not how I feel anymore. So irrespective of what you think, that's obviously I'm not going back to the Manosphere, but I think we need to be honest about the situation as far as people's past. Yeah, it's great to forgive people, and I think it's awesome. If you don't want to forgive me, then don't forgive me, right? If I'm not your cup of tea, that's great, that's awesome, but you can't just oh, hey, that's too much for me, but let me go ahead and walk and hold hands with the person that's been convicted of this and that. That doesn't make much sense to me. I would rather obviously try and build a friendship, or some kind of relationship with the person who hasn't been through as much uh shit, right? You can take that for whatever you will. All right, this dude has a lot of charges. Both of them have charges. I'm not trying to say because you have charges you're a bad person, but the charges matter. Let's be honest with you. There's layers to this shit. I'm not going to give any links. You can look it up for yourself. I don't have any reason to lie. Thank you for the $50 super chat. It's very interesting. Somehow we demonize all the black people that are trying to do better. Just like black men demonize black women for getting education. Oh, demonize the honest truth. He used to be homeless. Look at him. Now he has an apartment. Now he has money. Now he doesn't have to necessarily even work if he doesn't have to. Let's demonize him. Now he's back in college. Let's demonize him. It's time to demonize him. Now he sticks up for black women. Let's demonize him. Do you see the parallel here? It's kind of like y'all make it really hard for me to even stand up and protect you. If I'm being honest with you, let's say I wanted to just take the complete high route, and I didn't want to even address the Nyla and Taz situation. Let's just say I want to do that, and I kept trying to spit the same thing. Hey, you know what? a lot of the black women are hurt because we as guys haven't been this and we haven't been that. Let's just try and say and take the high road and say that. Black guys would look at this message, they would look at the message I'm saying, and they would be like, nigga, how can you say that when it was a black woman that literally gave your work address in hopes that people would either try and hurt you, call you to get you fired, which they're admitting to in the chat right now. How could you sit here and continuously say that? Obviously, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to believe you. That's what guys would say. That's what people would say. There's no way I could even say that even if I wanted to. People be like, nigga, have you not watched the video that has 22,000 views or 23,000 views of them like completely trashing you? Right? They'd be like, yeah, THT, I don't know about that, THT. I think that ship has sailed, homie. Right? It'd be hard to say that. JJ. I'm sorry, Coach JJ. I know I purchased that. $10 Canadian super chat says, sorry for what you're going through, but I'm glad you're realizing that there are toxic men and women. We need to discuss recognizing and avoiding them and focusing on building healthy relationships. I completely agree with you. Solo Mom Magic says, Taz is eating off THT every day. Listen, we all want to make money doing what we love to do, this YouTube thing. Everybody wants to make money. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody, but at a certain point, we got to start really addressing what's going on and just how bad and how thrown off some parts of our community are, right? And this isn't a huge part of the divestment community, but I think it affects a lot of women who are part of the divestment or the black women empowerment or the black women community, right? Because it can be seen as a very negative thing, with obviously me saying that all black women are all single mothers are terrible single mothers, right? With me saying, black women, look at what black women have their 5-year-old daughters dancing like they're trying to be little mini whatever it might be. Obviously, that's a horrible thing to say, right? So I completely get that. I definitely do. But at what point is it like, okay, you know what? I completely understand. There are bad mothers on both sides. There are lots of white bad mothers. It's like, you know what? By me saying that, I have to say that all white mothers are perfect, and that's not the case. There are lots of bad white mothers, right? So I think it is time, kind of going back to answering that super chat, that we really start to address both sides now. That we really start to go forward, have conversations with guys that, really are a part of the Manosphere, that really do believe what the Manosphere is saying, that are going to look at this situation, that have literally looked at the situation. And I've gotten comments once again from guys, and I was going to bring up the comments, but there's really no need to. I can try and check to bring one up. That joke about, once again, hey, THT, welcome back to the Manosphere, welcome back. We knew it was going to happen, right? So I get these comments, and I'm getting these emails, right? That's why I said it's hard, and it becomes difficult to share this type of message when the message that you're trying to share is being gone or written against by the people that the message is about, right? So in an interesting place, I have to be completely brutally honest. I mean, I have to change the message a little bit to some extent, right? I have to change the message a little bit to some extent. I have to start preaching about the horrible black males, the horrible black women that are in our community. I have to start talking about them. I have to start talking about the Nylas and the Tazes that go and that look for ruining the lives of other people, that look for retribution, that look for ensuring that their career, that their money, that their gravy train is taken care of so securely that if it means fucking off the lives of other people and putting their personal history, putting their private information out there. Once again, this isn't the first time they've done this. This is just the first time that they're going to do it against somebody that really, really, really is very passionate and firm in what I believe and what I stand for, right? And so this isn't the first time they do it. This is the first time that's going to be addressed in a certain manner, in a certain way. And so there was no reason, and there's no way, there was no purpose for me, or there was no ability, there was no even thought in my mind to put out where Taz or where Nyla stay. I have that information right now. I could put that out right now. It is truly public record or public information, right? It's truly public record, public information, all of their whatever it might be. Once again, I didn't even bring this into the discussion. Somebody simply commented this. By the time I brought up the super chat, it's too late. I read it in my mind before I read it out loud, but even if I didn't read it, there was going to be problems. What am I supposed to do? Right? There's going to be problems. Right. So I decided to read it. But out of that, even if we had problems online, there was still not even be an inclination for me to, in my mind, put where you stay, where you work, where you do this out online so people could in real life give you problems or give you circumstances or harm you. That's not where my mind would go. But you have to understand that there are people out here who are severely demented and severely twisted. There are people out here that are not in the right headspace. There are people out here that are not who should be in our society. And some of these people, as twisted or demented as they are, even get into positions of leadership. Think about some of the most notorious and horrible positions and leaders that we've had in the history of mankind, and how passionate and talented they were for spewing hatred. One of them in particular comes to mind, right? Hitler, right? So sometimes people are able to take messages that start off a certain way and make them look a certain way or fashionable, or fashion them in a certain light and twist them in whatever certain way. Well, I can't really twist the message anything else or anything other than where the message is right now at this point in my life, right? At this point the message is pretty solid in where it's at, and the message at this point is that we need to start having some conversations. We need to start talking about the manosphere and maybe some things that they're saying, right? And I know that might twist you to your core, to your veins, but I think it's pretty apparent with what we witness, as far as a lot of these beefs that we have in the sector, as far as a lot of this drama that we have in the sector, as far as a lot of these real lives dangerous threats that we have in this sector, that have to be taken care of a certain way, that have to be addressed a certain way, as far as this actually happening, as far as people's lives truly being uh, um, um, uh, uh, adversely or positively affected in real life from what's going on online. We need to really have a serious sit down and conversation, because if we start not talking about what could happen offline in real life based off of what happens online, then there's going to be future content creators, there's going to be future subscribers, future channel members, there's going to be future people like yourself who might have to deal with these same type of situations as well. And there needs to be a solid outline for why doxing, giving people's information on where they stay, is no matter how much you hate a person, no matter how much they say something about you might take away the money or take away your earning or your living potential, no matter how bad you might think something is about a person, revealing their information of where they live or work or whatever it might be, we need to start drawing a firm line in the sand. Because when you start to cross that line in the sand, now you start to get real life people problems, right? You get real life people problems, you get real life people situations and outcomes, right? Nobody wants real life problems. Most people. I don't want real life problems, for sure, for sure. But that's what these people do. And even if it's not them, because I guarantee you, not one of them would show up. But maybe there's one of their crazed subscribers. Maybe it's one of these guys that really don't like me, right? They open this up, and they open this up in the light of, oh, it's protecting black women because we're getting rid of a guy. We're trying to invite harm to a guy who said this about you, who did this, who did this, who did that, who did this. But once again, I guess maybe having 12 domestic violence charges, I guess slapping the fuck out of black women doesn't matter either, right? At what point do we forgive or forget? Oh, that was 20 years ago. You slapped the fuck out of a black woman. That's good. Last time I remember, I don't think 20 years ago I slapped the fuck out of a black woman. I don't think 20 months ago I slapped the fuck out of a black woman. Right. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If he beat her once, once a beater, always a beater. Like I said, if he really had real smoke for me, if Taz really wanted to see me in real life, all he had to do was send me an email. I would have gladly given you my message, my address, bro. If you really had some serious smoke for me, and I still will, if you really do have some serious smoke for me, you can come right on over here. I heard you're potentially close, to be honest with you. I heard he's potentially within my city, and I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just advocating for a peaceful, calm discussion, Susan at YouTube. But if you really wanted my address, all you had to do was ask me, man. Right. But that lets me know you really don't want any problems, not with me directly. If you really wanted problems with me directly, then you would get a problem with me directly. Right. That way you could have emailed me. And if I didn't respond, you could have said, hey, I was trying to find THT. He didn't respond to me. He didn't respond to my email. He chickened out. If you really wanted to get in contact with me, you could have gotten in contact with me. But you didn't want to get into contact with me. You want to take my channel down. And that's fine. You're not going to be able to take my channel down. You can keep trying, and you're not going to be the last people to try. Right. Asia's Revenge said, how old were you 20 years ago when Taz was pulling phones out of the wall? I 20 years ago, I was 10. um, smart cookie. Flo says you got exposed, sir. You got exposed. And to some people, once again, the reason I'm addressing it is because a lot of people who are new in this channel don't know anything about my past. Yes, I was Manosphere in the past. Yes, I was Manosphere in the past. Texas absolutely in the house. Texas in the house. Yes, I was Manosphere in the past. Manosphere for years. I've been Manosphere for longer than I've been awoken, if you will. Absolutely. Manosphere for years. Right? I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've said horrible, disparaging things about women. I've said horrible, disparaging things about black women. Perhaps there's more that's out there. I don't know. Right? I've never harmed a black woman. I've never harmed a woman. I've never harmed anybody, really, to be honest with you. I try to be a better person. You know, it's just a money grab. Um, my intention wasn't to make money on YouTube. I'm happy to make money on YouTube, definitely. But my intention wasn't to make money on YouTube. No, it's not a money grab. In my opinion, you make more money talking bad about black women than you do talking in support for them. And it's obvious. I mean, I talk in support for black women and I end up getting destroyed by black women, right? If I'm part of the manosphere and you talk bad about black women, for the most part, you're embraced with open arms, right? Once again, if you're new to my channel, this isn't going to be as applicable to you. Skim forward, watch some other videos, whatever it might be, right? I believe there's more money in talking badly about women in general, in my opinion. I get destroyed from both sides, right? Taz is supposed to be a protector of black women, but I get destroyed from protectors of black women, and I get destroyed from attackers of black women and attackers of black men, right? I don't, yeah, that Kenzo, once again, yeah, it's something that a lot of the new people, I don't know if I just answered that question, but I might have. And once again, I don't mind the exposing, put out the exposing, put out all that stuff. I'm talking about doxing people and releasing like personal confidential information though. Like, that's serious. Once again, I'm not the only content creator that's happened to. They've done this to uppity people. They've done this to uppity unicorn. They've done this to somebody else as well. They've done this to people before. This is nothing new, right? This is nothing new. I just don't like how people make it seem like they want problems, like you really want problems, but you really don't want problems, right? If you really wanted problems, then there can really be problems. But the biggest problem is just the money thing. That's what lets me know that there's really you really don't feel anything that type of way really about it, except for the money part, the money issue. So when they see the super chats go by, when they see the donations, when they see people still continuing to donate, they're like, "Dang, people are still donating. People are still donating. People are still doing this." Listen, if they're mammying, if women are mammying for donating to me, then how are they not a mammying to donating for somebody who beats women? How does that work out? If you're a mammy to donating for me, how are you not a mammy to donating for somebody who's married to a man that beats women, that has beat women allegedly? How does that work out? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't get that. Yeah, I've addressed this in the past. There's another live stream called Addressing Kevin Samuels and Haters. Check out that live stream. It was done a few months ago. The name of that live stream is Addressing Kevin Samuels and Haters. Check out that live stream. It talks about my Manosphere past, but I decided to just go live and talk in real time and kind of look at y'all's comments. Self Love Heals with a $50 super chat says everyone is allowed to change except THT. Everybody hates THT. Your true fans know about your red pill days. I appreciate that. Self Love Heals. Yeah, definitely. I think that I definitely think that's the case. And I think that a lot of the new ladies maybe don't. And if they don't, then I understand. And once again, I have no problem even showing those videos, right? I have no problem showing the videos of the red pill history and questioning my authenticity and things of that nature. But showing my work address is just a step too far. That's just a step too far. Like I just said, if you wanted to know where I'm at, if you wanted to know how you can get at me, then just let me know. Reach out to me and we can get at each other if you really want to do that, right? Once again, you're bringing in other people to the drama, though. Bringing in other crazies to the drama. If something happens, right? That's not what anybody wants. It's not what I think, at least. Thank you so much, Self Love Hills, for the $50 super chat. And thank you as well for Jazz and Justice for the $50 super chat. Two $50 super chats. I appreciate that. Listen, let me talk about the words, what I said as far as black women go. Listen, y'all. All right. I don't talk bad about black women. I don't like talking bad about black women anymore. Mom's a black woman. I have black women who I love in my life. So that's just not the point that I'm at anymore. People change, right? People do change. That's the goal. Even when I have people who we don't agree with, even when I have guys on this channel, right? I believe that they can change. And if they change, then I'm happy for it. I really am. That's what we want. That's the purpose of this channel. That's what I thought the purpose of this channel was. But I see that that's not everybody's purpose in the channel. That's not everybody's purpose. A lot of people just want that blood sport, right? A lot of people want that hell. They want you to retaliate. They want you to threaten them online for revealing where you work. They want you to threaten them online for revealing personal details about you. They want you to threaten them online for doing this and doing that and doing this, doing that. That's what they live off of. Some people really thrive off that energy, and we need to start really talking about that in the black community because we have a serious problem, right? We have a serious problem. Life of Grandmaster Troll for $5 says, "Are all black mamas still worse, or is it 50%? Salute for being accountable, but I got to get you." Listen, I don't know if there's any percentage that we can describe how many black mothers are good and bad. I don't know if there's any way to describe that, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that there are definitely good black mothers and there are definitely bad black mothers, and there are a lot of each. We'll talk about that all in the future, but I do plan on talking about that because obviously it's very apparent to me once again that we're dealing with people of very questionable identity that are somehow once again making the moral identity and the moral code for this sphere, for this space. And I don't think it's just out of sincere feeling. They're not doing this out of sincere feeling. There's nothing that's been done out of sincere feeling. All of this is just essentially being done for money. And I have no problem, once again, sharing the space. I have no problem promoting people, promoting businesses, promoting brands, promoting ideas. I want to do that to everybody. I've done that to a fault. I've done that to people, and I still do that to people that curse me out to this day, to people that essentially probably ended up revealing sensitive details and personal account of details that I'm friends with on Facebook right now about my personal life, right? People that I still support, still share the links to their channels to this day. People that hate me to this day. So it's like I'm willing to set grudges and things like that in the back. They'll say, "Well, of course you're not, because you gave a cheap shot talking about Taz's domestic violence history." Once again, by the time I brought it up, I already brought it up. Taz really doesn't like me. It really doesn't matter to me. Taz isn't a good person, right? Everybody's said and done bad things, but I don't think Taz is a good person. I'm not a perfect person either. I've said a lot of bad things, but I'm trying to be a better person, right? Trying to be a better person. I don't put women and children at harm, right? I don't put women and children who might be working who might be visiting at the Farmers Insurance Agency office in harm. Even gangsters, even gangsters who kill people for a living didn't mess with women or children. Even gangsters have some sort of code. There are women and children that go to that office. If you want problems, then you can really have problems with people. It's not that complicated to get in touch with me. But now you're creating problems for other people, and that's never good. It's never good at all. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, because you revealed where I work. I don't know if somebody's going to drive up, if somebody's just going to spray up the office. I don't know. I'm not even concerned about me at this point. I'm concerned about other people. That's the big problem. But once again, because YouTube monies is so important, because they're so offended, because what I said about your prior domestic violence, you claim that somehow that's doxing you. I didn't tell anybody where you live, Taz or Nyla. I didn't tell anybody about your homelessness. I didn't tell anybody about y'all bouncing from hotel to hotel. I didn't tell anybody about y'all's previous entire criminal history or conviction. I ain't cover anything about how bad you've been to a lot of black women in this sector, to Taz cussing black women out, to Taz calling black women bitches, to Taz threatening all kinds of black women who are YouTube subscribers. I didn't talk about any of that. But if we want to play dirty, then we can start to play a bit dirtier. I really don't want to do that. I prefer to settle things and to squash things right now. However, I'm not a person that can just be pushed around, especially when it comes to personal safety and the personal safety of others. If need be, I'll get police involved. And I'd hate to do that. If need be, I'll handle things, and I'll make sure that everybody around me knows that they need to handle things in a certain manner, accurately and with appropriate measures, if we have to get down to it. And I think that that's what we must do at this point in time, because I'm not sure what exactly y'all's plans are. But see, this has turned from YouTube to something that's really going to affect things in real life. And that's not what I want to do. We could have kept this on YouTube, but you decided to go ahead and keep this and bring this off of YouTube. So now we're going to have to bring this off of YouTube a bit. And I'm not going around looking for people. I don't do any of that. But I do need to make things very, very consciously clear that if this is what you support as a Black woman, if this is what you support, then you really are part of the problem. I'll be quite honest with you. If you support Nyla and Taz and what they've done in the past, I get people can change, but it's very obvious and apparent to me that there's not much that has changed as far as their character, as far as their portrayal, or how they see themselves, how they view themselves, how they speak about themselves. In my opinion, I'm not seeing much change, right? I'm not seeing much change. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be a bit better. That's just a weak ass thing to do, man. That's just weak. He insulted us, so we gotta drop where he lives now, because he insulted us. We show all the videos about me talking bad about Black women. Show them all. I have no problem with that. Do that. But we gotta draw. Where's the line here? Where's the line? Next thing, somebody's popping up deceased because crowds, subscribers start warring with each other, and now they're starting to argue with each other. And this is all based off of something that happened on YouTube. At some point, I cut the YouTube off. Now this is gonna now I got to cut the YouTube on and keep the YouTube on a little bit more. Now I got to cut a few other things on and keep a few other things on a little bit more. Now I got to install a few more security cameras around a couple other places. Now I got to move a little bit differently, right? Because this is YouTube. Jay Bree for $10 says, you helped me heal. Now I'm in a strong relationship. Happy I can leave the online dating community behind. It's beyond toxic. Life is so fulfilling now. I don't have to bash Black men anymore. Unsub with love. Thank you so much, Bree. I appreciate that. And I'm glad. And congratulations to you, Bree. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's huge. Helped you heal. I'm honored to be able to help you heal. That means a lot, man. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to heal myself. Hurt people, and that's all I was trying to do. That's what I was in the Manosphere. I was hurt. A Black woman hurt me, so I said, "Fuck Black women." I said, I hate Black women. I said, all Black women are terrible. Black mothers are horrible. Black mothers are the worst. I said it. I said it all because a Black woman broke my heart. That's why I said it. That's literally why I said it. It's not right. It's horrible. No. But out of that, I'm glad that this was able to happen for you. That's what I do it for. Even if a guy comes to me and he says, "Man, I used to hate Black women too. I used to hate women too. I used to joke about Black women." If he says, "Man, hey, you changed my mind," man, that's what I do it for now. Just trying to correct a little bit of the negativity that I put out there, man. You know, that's it. Jazz and Justice for the $10 super chat says, I'm the one who sent that domestic violence super chat to call out his hypocrisy. I appreciate that, Jazz and Justice. No, that's fine. You know, like I said, if we're going to call out hypocrisies, if we're going to call out people, then let's call out people. Let's judge sins according to sins. But I mean, you know, not all sins are equal. And I appreciate you continuing to support and continuing to keep me informed, Jazz and Justice. If we're going to hold everybody to accountability, let's hold out everybody to accountability. I'll apologize as much as I need to. Having said that, there are some things you know, I don't have to apologize for, and I'm proud of that. Having said that, the things that I apologize for and that I've done wrong, I'm going to try to make sure that I don't ever do again. You know, I try my best. I try my best. I feel like I'm a changed person, but I guess only time can tell if you're a changed person, you know. You can say it and say it and say it, but Cjo J said the Manosphere for $25 Canadian super chat. I appreciate that, Cjo J. The Manosphere and the Woman's Sphere generalize all men or women as bad because of the psychological pain or the grifters for profit. Really, the bad, quote unquote, people are few, and most want to grow and build our communities and get along. I think you're right. You know, I think you're right. I 1000% agree with you. 1000% agree with you. And I'm the same way. I'm the same way. The reason I was into the bad and the reason why I spewed the bad for so long is because that's what helped me. That's what made me feel good in my pain and my torment. That's what helped me cope with my failures and with my lack and inability to grow. But the second that I started listening to truth, the second I started growing, and that was coincidentally when I was listening to Pink Pill. That was when I was listening to black women talk badly about black men. Now, obviously, yes, I know when we start to hear the argument for the other side say, well, hey, all black women aren't perfect too, then we need to start acknowledging that argument, like you said, C. Jose. I appreciate that super chat, that second super chat, if I'm not mistaken. And we do need to start addressing the pain on both sides that leads to just this hatred, this hostility that I was a part of. And if I was a part of it, as kind of a person as I am, even though I do have my issues and I do have my anger spurts for sure, don't get it messed up. I can be a very angry person. But as kind of a person, even as I am, there was a particular moment in time where I had a severe amount of hatred, right? Hatred. And that happens on both sides. And it's very apparent right now. And then it's confusing. It's confusing. It's just confusing. The logic sphere is in the building. He's dead. The logic sphere is dead. Yeah, the logic sphere. I watched the video. I watched your video. Tony Morrison says, "Oh my gosh, if you don't like truth of the channel, just leave. Why is it so difficult to just exit?" Yeah, uh, I think that the biggest thing is that the content is enjoyable to some extent. The podcast is enjoyable to some extent. Thank you so much for getting Black for the $20 super chat. The content is enjoyable. I think that some of it has the drama, right? The drama is also really enjoyable for a lot of people. I'm not really that big on the drama, but I understand the appeal of it. I think that right now it has a lot of relevancy because it's drama that has to deal with me, my credentials, my history. It's embarrassing to me, at least publicly. It's humiliating to me. So I think that that's going to draw in appeal from people because they're seeing essentially a person have his entire life put on Front Street, right, and threatened for the most part, right, publicly humiliated, shame, threatened, and things of that nature. So it's enticing. There's a lot of beats. There's a lot, so I understand that for sure. But as far as not liking, then by all means, you could leave the channel. But I do think that a part of it is just good content, decent type content that people enjoy watching. It's intriguing, and we've had some drama as of lately. I think that's why people are sticking around. Sticking around a little bit. So I am Ghost said, sad people are making YouTube coins, tearing down black women. LOL. Most biggest illness of most people. That was my thing that I kind of woke up to too. I said, why am I trying to talk bad about about my sisters? That's the biggest thing that kind of woke me up. It just didn't make much sense. It just kind of seemed weak. It just seemed weak. Maybe I woke up too quick. I don't know. Michaela says Taz is mirroring our comments on his live stream. He's a bully of black women, SMH. They just seem really bullyish, and it's not just Taz that's a bully, but it's also Nyla. They're very bullyish, very, very, very bullish. Like I said, I don't get why. I would have just gladly shared their channels and the links. I would have gladly shared any products that they would have had. I'd have gladly, whatever it might be. And this time I brought him on, right? I brought Taz on because he wanted to hold me accountable and judge me for not holding Space Ghost Perp accountable. And that whole interview was not done in a well whatever received way. And I get that. I said, okay, yeah, hey, listen, maybe I need to talk to Taz, right? Maybe I need to talk to Taz. But of course, we start diverging into like just complete and utter chaos, and I don't want to do that with the stream, right? I don't want to do that with the stream. I just don't do that. Some people say we handle things completely differently, perhaps, but I just don't. I just don't want to do that. Butterfly Energy. I recognize Butterfly Energy's name. Butterfly Energy. I saw you on the other pages. Yeah, they're bullies, man. They're bullies. Big bullies. Big bullies. I mean, who tries to ruin people's lives online to get people to get fired? Who does that? Like, dang, I understand. I understand you're upset, but I mean, come on now. Come on. Oedipus Rex says you don't want it with Taz, Nyla, or Sin. I'll give you a couple days to close your channel. We're already calling your boss. Like these types of people. These people live for this types of stuff. I wouldn't call Taz or Nyla's boss if they worked somewhere. I wouldn't call Taz or Nyla's boss and try and get them fired. I just wouldn't do that. That's just not important to me. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't try and ruin their actual real life. But Taz, Nyla, and I mean, I guess they roll with Cynthia. So I'm not calling out Cynthia, but if Cynthia rolls with them, whatever that group, whoever they are, right? They go to try and ruin people's lives. Essentially, that's what they love to do. They look forward to it. So it's hard when you hear a black man say, "Oh, well, my my baby mama has tried to ruin my life." Well, if you see a channel that has 74,000, that has 80,000 women that are very happy and proud of Cynthia G or Taz or Nyla drilling black men, it starts to make a little bit more sense. How can we defend that now? They'll disguise this as this whole, well, we're divested, we're not dating black men anymore. Well, listen, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. White men aren't gonna like those types of characteristics of just drilling, men unscrupulously for whatever reason. No race of guy is really gonna like that type of, if I'm being honest with you, behavior. I wouldn't like that, but maybe I'm crazy. I wouldn't. I don't want a woman that's gonna drill all the time. But they live for drilling. So that's what they're doing. They're drilling me right now, and they're going to go on. They're going to continue to drill me. They're going to probably try and continue to release more personal information, right? But once again, it's like I've yet to release any of your personal information. Sorry, I told people about your personal background. Sorry. Drill. It's time to drill him. That's what they say. It's time to drill. And the ladies are excited about it. They're excited. And a part of me, I understand the retribution, right? I understand that black men have done horrible things to black women, and that a lot of black women are just hurt and scorned, and so they love to see peril towards black men. I get that. I understand that. But at what point do you start to like realize that you're destroying other black women who are on this channel, who really do support other black women, right? Who might really believe in supporting the message of black women, right? But because they agree with this channel or a video or something that I've said in the past, because they've agreed with one thing I said in the past and they decided to watch, they're a demon now too, right? It's like, how far are we going to curse, right? How far are we going to curse? So now we have Lady B, who's insulting, and I'm a simp, right? I'm a simp right now, and now I have to deal with ladies who are also a part of the movement, who I try and say I want to protect, who will claim that I'm a fraud as well. It's tough. Why do they feel the need to dox me? I'm not sure, but this is what they do. This is what they do. If they don't agree with what something says about, if they don't agree with what somebody or someone or something that's said about them, whoever says it, then they'll just dox you. This isn't the first time. They just reveal all your personal details, and they'd be like, "Oh, you shouldn't have messed with us. See, now look at you." That's what they do. They get off on that. They love that. They want to ruin your personal life. That's not a person that I want to be associated with. That's not a person that I want to call a friend, right? Even if Taz did beat women, even if not, even if everybody has past. I understand everybody has things. We've all done things in our past. I completely get it, right? I completely get it. Even if that was the case, I wouldn't dox anybody. I'm not going to try and tell anybody where they stay, right? It's not. It's never that serious to me. It's not that serious. That's pretty serious. JJ said, but you didn't read a comment where somebody else brought up his background, and give Spaz the opportunity to speak on it. But you didn't read a comment where somebody else brought up his background. Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up again. I felt like that was going to be throwing fire on the on the fire pit. I thought that was going to be throwing gasoline on the fire. So I'm not going to bring out the other one. But there was another super chat that said it. I think I flashed it on the screen, but I took it down. Right. I should have read it before I brought it up, I suppose. Right. What can you do? Dimitri Welling has a $5 super chat. Cynthia G recommended you and spoke well of your channel. Stay on your own journey and positive message. Do not feed into their hate. I appreciate that, Dimitri. Yeah, Cynthia G did recommend the channel at first, for sure, for sure. I tried to recommend and stay in their good graces for as long as possible, but I think that a lot of things got in the way. $5 super chat from B Shorter says, you were gifted with a purpose, bro. Hope, enjoy our weapons, find your inner light, and don't let the haters live in your head rent free. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. Thank you all for the $5 super chats and for the channel memberships as well, for anybody that's a channel member, as well as the channel mods that are moderating right now, as well as the channel mods. That was my biggest thing, just trying to make myself a better person. I've had a sketchy past, a rough past. You've heard a lot of it, right? I'm a little bit more clean cut now. But trust me, man, I have a past. A lot of people are like, he talked so differently back then. Yeah, I dealt with a lot of different people back then. I was dealing with a lot of monsters. I was dealing with a lot of people who are right now in federal prison for life. I was dealing with a lot of people who are on a day-to-day basis in jail forever for murder. I was dealing on a day-to-day basis with those people day to day for years, right? I know people say this all the time, but I was really quote unquote in the streets for years. Right? I was. So I don't just say these things just to say these things. These experiences that I have are real life experiences. I've been a little of everywhere. So if you're shocked to see that person in the videos, you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, that was such a different person. He must be faking the way that he talks now." No, I'm not faking the way I talk now. Right? I've talked the way that I talk right now for most periods of my life. Right? But when you're living around the hood, when you're living around monsters, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. JJ for $5 says, I was saying you just read the comments and let him respond. You didn't bring up his past. That commenter did. Whose past are you talking about? You talking about Space Ghost Perp's past? I just read the comments and let him respond. I didn't hold um Space Ghost Perp accountable, or are you talking about Taz? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Nimkai says you've been through it, huh, THT? I know we've all been through things, right? Some more than others. Taz. Let's see. Let me read your question again. I'm sorry. Um, I was saying you just read the comment and let him respond. You didn't bring up his past. That commenter did. Yeah. No. Yeah. When I get a super chat, I gotta start reading the super chats before in my head before I just click on them. But when I get a super chat, I just click on it and then I'll read it, right? Because I want whoever donated money to have their comment read out loud because it's special if you donate money. So I'll click on it and then I'll be like, okay, super chat $5. I was saying, and then I'll read it. His was talking about his domestic violence. So I knew it was gonna be a problem as soon as I said it. But I mean, what I couldn't do anything. I read it by that point, and it was on the screen by that point. I didn't know anything about his domestic violence, but if his response about me talking about his domestic violence and him slapping, abusing allegedly women is the need to tell other people where I work, then that's fine. If you're angry and you respond like that about your past and your history, then that lets me know that you probably did slap women. To be completely honest with you, so hey, if that's the protector for you, by all means, go ahead. But don't come over here calling the women who like this message, who listen to these interviews. Don't come over here calling people who watch these videos mammies and stuff like that. What is a mammy then at this point? What is a mammy? What is a mammy? A felony convicted, multiple baby mother with current wife type. I mean, what is a mammy at this point? Everybody's a mammy if that's the case. It just doesn't make any sense. Everybody's a mammy. Sparkling Water says Taz has a past that he wants to be forgiven, but crucified THT for a bad interview. It's not even the bad interview. It's me talking about his past. Like they crucified me for the bad interview, right? And I mean, I could take the crucifixion. I can take needing and trying to do better and work better, right? That's what I'm all about, trying to do better. I try and do better, right? That's all I'm about right now. Just trying to be the better person, as best as a person as I can be. Leave the world as a better place than what I found it as. But they're not. They're not trying to be better. Everybody's a mammy. Oh, you're a mammy. Oh, Michelle Obama's a mammy because Obama's father was from Kenya. So she's a mammy for getting with them. It's like, dude, who's not a mammy? Am I going to open up the panel? I'm sorry, my bad. Let me open up the panel. Copied. Yeah, if you want to open up the panel, Logic Sphere, I particularly knew you would get a kick out of this because I knew you said it was a matter of time before they all turned against me. I knew you said this. Fortunately, not all have turned against me, and there's still a lot of ladies and gentlemen who support. There's the link to join the panel. Come up here. I'm not going to be getting crazy. If you just sound crazy at this point, there's already been enough craziness. Keep in mind, if you come onto the panel, protect your identity. There are people who seek to dox other people and reveal your identity to the rest of the world. So if you do have a job, if you have a career, if you have something that you make a living on that could be jeopardized by you coming onto this panel and saying things, then I need you to keep in mind very clearly that you need to join without having your government name. You need to not have your picture or your photo or anything like that shared online because there's a risk with it, right? There is a risk with it at this point. There is a risk with it, right? So if you don't mind sharing your camera and come up to the panel, I would love for you to share your camera. It helps the stream looks a little bit better. It's more entertaining. So please share your camera. Please share your camera. But be careful. The words you say could and will be used against you one day. Be careful. Nobody gets a pass. Oh yeah, JJ, I understand what you're saying. JJ says, I want you to understand what I'm saying for the $5. Thank you, JJ, and thank you for your membership. You didn't bring up Taz's background. That commenter did. All you did was read the comment. Yeah. I didn't know about Taz's background. Taz claims that I watch him all the time. They claim that I watch them all the time. I don't watch that many people. I watch a couple of people, man. You know, and then I watch most of my other videos about stuff that's not even related to this sphere, like fishing videos and hunting videos and gun videos and stuff like that. That's what I watch most of the time, right? Somebody joined with an account that says Jonathan Wilson, and it's my picture. I'm gonna keep it back there. I'm not gonna bring you up because I appreciate kind of keeping you there for now. We'll keep you on for as long as you want to stay. For obvious liability issues, it's pretty funny though. This is something that happens to all celebrities and or personalities, public online personalities, the doxing thing. I didn't think it was going to happen at 5,000 subscribers, but it's just a matter of time. You just hate to see that it's from people in your own camp, It's like, damn, man. We can't get it all together. I appreciate you, JJ. I got you. I got you. Let them up with the trolling. Okay, I'll let them up for the trolling. The picture of me.
Hi,
Hi.
we can take out Taz and his girl. Doxing is wrong.
All right. Well, thank
We
you. I
can take
appreciate
them
it.
out.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Jonathan. Thank you for your help. All right.
No problem.
All right.
And shout
Bye-bye.
out to Classic Whoopi.
All right. Shout out to him.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Twin
Twin.
Power.
Shorty B, welcome to the panel, Shorty B. It's good to see you.
Hey, how you doing, doctor?
I'm good, man. How's everything been for your side of the world?
Man, it's coming along, It's still the pandemic, everything going on, but man, I was really frustrated about how things went down towards you, man. I'm really sorry that all this happened to you, man. It's not right, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. It's kind of a part of it, I think that I think that for the most part, it's revealing, right? Because it tells a lot, and it tells a lot of different things. A lot of people, a lot of women are really hurt, and they're really shocked that they heard a lot of what I said in the past. They didn't understand that about me. It's revealing that we have people who are supposed to be on our side that can incite so many different arguments amongst our own people. So we're really already divided to a certain extent. But then it's also just so appealing and so interesting because we need to start having conversations with other people who we thought were our enemies, who might not necessarily be as much of our enemies as they thought that they were. Because I mean, who can do more damage to the person who is an ally while you're sleeping in your home tent, right? In your home camp, in your home encampment, and you're at war? Who can do more damage than the ally that can sneak in while you sleep, right?
Right,
So,
exactly. Interesting thing. I went back. I looked at your 1,000 subscriber special. It's like with everything going on, I was just spiritually, really, just kind of searching for some discernment and such, and it led me back there. And
right,
just watching the passion in your eyes, man, and just the drive, and the thankfulness, the gratitude, the joy at that moment in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like I really actually encourage you to go back and watch, if you haven't already, some of your own more positive content, just from a mental health perspective. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of like reaffirm, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is what I'm for, and I'm going to stay centered. I'm going to stay driven. I'm not going to let all the outside negativity push me off the base of what I started this thing for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate that, Be Shorter. Good words there, man. Good words there. Um, I definitely think that that's the best way to kind of handle it going forward. And this is something that we weren't going to address, and I wasn't going to address, but obviously it's blown up, and I mean it's going to get to 25,000 and potentially 30,000, and who knows, maybe even 50,000. I didn't know I was that interesting of a person, but I guess I am that interesting of a person. So shout out to everybody watching me right now. Shout out everybody that's going to watch on the replay. And on the playback, shout out to all of our channel sponsors, to all our mods. Once again, shout out to you watching if you're at work, if you're on your way home, whatever it might be. Shout out to you for still supporting me. If you think that I'm telling the truth and if you think that I am a changed person, I can't thank y'all enough, right? For all the support that I've had, all the emails and people that have been reaching out to me and really making sure that I'm okay. I've had a lot of people reach out to me. Let's get those likes up, Tony Morrison. I appreciate you. We need the likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Either likes or dislikes. Choose one side. You got to pick one or the other, right? We got to pick one or the other. If you'd like to join the panel, once again, click that link, ladies and gentlemen. Click that link. I want to hear what you have to think or say what you have to think. Can I hear what you're thinking? I don't think that's physically or virtually possible. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I want to hear what you have to say. If you have any questions for me, or if you'd like to address a lot of what I said, or if you want to just come visit me at my job, at this point, you're welcome to come visit. Just make sure that you knock on the door. I just want to give you that solid piece of advice. Please knock on the door. $10 super chat before we bring you on, Lathea. Forgive me. $10 super chat. Also, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you change your names. Let's make sure that we change our names on the way in. Lathea, I'm going to go ahead and take you down. But if you can stay up if you want to, just make sure that your name in real life is not spelt the way that it is spelt on YouTube. Make sure that your name in real life is not spelt the way that it is spelt on YouTube. All right. Or vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say. $10 super chat from High Vibrational Frequency says black women being critical of black men pathology is mostly new. Sin admits to being a black male worshiper just 2 years ago, and Nyla just became critical of black males and pro-vest a few months ago. But THT can't change views. Thinking emoji. That seems to be it for me. A lot of people were in a lot of different spaces not too long ago. A lot of people were in a lot of different spaces, and for me, it's a bigger thing of what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Listen, I know a lot of people, and listen, I was watching a video about a woman who was supporting what Space Ghost Perp was saying, and y'all are going to be upset at this, but it was a black woman that was supporting what Space Ghost Perp was saying, and she was supporting him being upset and having the right to be upset at ladies or Cynthia G for saying what she said about aborting black male babies, and some of the other ladies were in the chat and they really supported her, right? I'll bring up the video here in a little bit, but while I'm doing that, just so y'all know I'm not lying, let me bring up Lathea. Lathea, the floor is yours. Shorty, I'm going to remove you. Lathea, what question did you have after Lathea? We have the logic sphere. Go ahead, Lathea.
Hello, sir. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm a fan of yours, and I just want to offer you some encouragement and also to tell all the people, the negative, hateful, awful human beings who've been harassing you, that if he really was in this for the money, there is way more money into bashing black women than it is to be supportive of black women. Kevin Samuel has 1 million subscribers. He gets millions of views, and he gets money all the time. So if he was really in it for the money, he would not be doing what he's doing now. That's all I wanted to say. Peace to you, brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Lathea. And that's very true. That's the name of the game. I mean, there's serious money in it, man. There's serious money. And Logic Sphere is on, ladies and gentlemen. Logic Sphere is on. YouTube content creator, Logic Sphere. It's good to see you in the building, man. I remember watching your critique. Some of y'all have watched it as well. It seems like this moment has been predicted by you and a few other men who are in, or at least aware of the Manosphere. I know you're not Manosphere yourself, but what are your thoughts on this entire thing? Go ahead.
I would consider myself like an offshoot of the Manosphere.
Okay.
First of all, yeah. But I didn't predict this. I thought you were smarter than that, man. You missed Pander, dog. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, that's what a lot of.
Bro, you said respect. You said respectfully, dog, to somebody who said he was gonna kill black women, dog. How can you don't say you said with all due respect? I'm sitting there like, man, come on, you fumbling the bag, dog. Get your head back in the game, fam.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we discussed the reason, the tactics of me doing this, and there's a certain interview style and process they wanted to do, a certain read technique, the good cop, bad cop, trying to, assess the situation, a certain psychological advantage, trying to manipulate the advantage psychologically, get them comfortable, get them speaking, yada, 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 trying to put on a show, essentially. That's the purpose of why I did that. However, people thought that I was legitimately being like, "Oh man, thank you, Space Ghost Perp, for being here. Hey, I know that you said that you want to kill black women and cut their tongues out of their right. I know, but that's what people really thought that I was doing. That's not my intention. That wasn't my intention. I thought people thought I would be smarter than to do that. To be honest with you, I thought people would kind of understand why I was doing things, but I mean, people like let me have it, man. People let me have it.
Then you didn't take down the Facebook stuff, fam. Like, come on, dog. You got rid of the YouTube videos, but you left the Facebook stuff, fam.
Yeah, I mean, I have so much on Facebook, bro, and I mean, it's one of those things where I didn't want anything on my Facebook to be seen, period, right? Except for the newer stuff that's obviously related to business. But I know that you think there's this notion or narrative that I pander and that I really sincerely don't mean all this, and that's not the case. But even if you were to just assume that I pander and that I fumble the bag,
fam.
right?
You be pandering, fam.
Yeah, I know that's what you think. But here, that's why I think that this is good. I think it's good to speak with you because a lot of black men do think, a lot of guys do think, and a lot of black women obviously now do think that I legitimately pander, right? They're like, obviously he's a pander, and I think it's good to bring these types of conversations out to bay because this is a conversation that be coming from a more manosphere perspective, and it makes it hard because it's like, okay, well, you know what? Let's just say I was being completely legitimately honest. Now my word doesn't have much credence or bearance as far as to you because you think that I pander. But even if I was legitimately pandering, I would be smarter than to bring somebody on that said that they were going to kill black women. And
you would.
Like, man, you're awesome, bro. Like if I was legitimately pandering, I'd be like, man, Space Ghost Perp, you're a horrible person, bro. I hope you die. I hope your family dies. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was really pandering, that's what I would do, bro. But
but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how you fumbled the bag, though, dog.
Yeah, but bro, I'm not trying to just make a bag. That's the point. I'm not just trying to sit on YouTube and make a bag. Listen, I'm glad to make money. I'm glad to make money. Absolutely glad to make money. But that's not why I started doing the YouTube thing. I'm happy to make money. Listen, we're all happy to make money, but that's not why I started doing this. Do I want to make money? Yes, absolutely. But that's not my goal. I don't think in my head like, okay, what video am I going to make? So what video am I going to make so I can break 400? What video am I going to make so I can break 600? What video am I going to make so I can break 400 people? So I get that's not how I think about my videos,
you
bro.
Got the formula, man. You literally make thumbnails with black men making like screaming, angry fistball faces and shit, dog. Come on, fam.
Right. I mean,
come on, dog. Hey, listen. I ain't trying to mess up your bag no more, but you did say something, fam. You said that when you were a part of the Manosphere, and you said you was a part of the Manosphere because you said black women hurt you.
Right.
Now, is that a legitimate reason?
Yeah. Oh, huge reason, bro. What?
No, but what I'm saying is that a legitimate reason? So what I'm saying is that you think that is necessary then? Your time in the Manosphere wasn't necessary.
My time in the Manosphere wasn't necessary. That's a tough question. I don't know. I think that it set up, honestly, I think it did way more bad than it did good. And here's why. Even let's just say that what they say is mostly true. The message for the most part isn't to make yourself a better person. The message is for the most part that women are just horrible, evil people. And I'm starting to see and I recognize now that not all women are good people, right? That I'm facing right now, me having my personal safety and my work history messed up because of a woman, right? So I see and I understand that, but I think that still it becomes dangerous because the message doesn't stop there. And most of the Manosphere doesn't say, hey, okay, you know what? Take care of yourself, become educated, do well, do this. It becomes a blood sport activity where you just want to see black women become degraded online. And then that starts to become normal as far as your thought process. And then all of a sudden you start having conversation. And just like me, you start making YouTube videos saying black women are the worst mothers and this, and that. Until you have an epiphany one day, until you have conversations, until you have a day of reflection, and you're like, you know what? Right. It might be a little deeper. So here's what I'm saying. did I need to be in the manosphere? No. What I think I needed were men who were legitimate men in the community that could take me and pull me aside and say, hey, you know what, man, you're on the wrong track right now. You have a lot going on. Let's try and figure some things out emotionally for you. Let's try and get you on the right track. I needed somebody to kind of just pull me along that way, or at least to help me maybe in the career path of choice that I was trying to do. That didn't happen as much. That doesn't happen as much in the manosphere spaces. Sure, y'all talk about cryptocurrency, and some of them talk about cryptocurrency every once in a while. And I know that you talk about that a lot, a good amount, more than you do actually talk about relationships. But you're the minority in this case. Most manosphere guys.
And that's my point in coming up here. Really, is when you made that statement about the manosphere, right?
Right.
Are you willing to say, because you were part of the manosphere, admittedly? So are you willing to say that there are a lot of good guys in the manosphere, that everybody in the manosphere could be just like you?
Yeah, I think that I can say partly to that statement, absolutely, that there are good guys, and there are probably a decent amount of guys in the manosphere. I'd say, I don't know what percentage I could put it on, right? I don't know what percentage I could put it on, but I think it just depends, and that's a very deep question, and it has a lot of nuance to it. There's a lot of situational nuance to it, right? It depends on the personality. It depends on how long they've been kind of entrenched in where they're going through. It depends on what their situational relationships are like. It depends on the pain that or the trauma that they've experienced. It's a lot of different factors. So I can't give you a clear, concise answer, but I think there are a lot of guys in the manosphere that might just be and have been led astray, right? That might think, and just like I was, right? So I'll agree to a portion of that. What percentage that is, I'm not sure, but I can definitely agree for wholeheartedly that there are guys in the manosphere that that definitely are good people for sure.
And
1000%.
one more thing before I bounce, man, because it's something else, bro. I just want you listen. You will always have a base. You stay with the divestment stuff, man. Don't swerve off into this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing. Trust me. Trust me. Look at what happened with Derrick Jackson. He went through that. He kept it rolling. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. There's nothing you can do wrong as long as you keep repeating what these women want you to say. I promise you. That's all I got to say. So, yeah, stay the course, bro. I'll catch you later. Peace.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. All right. I read a comment. Let's go ahead and go on. We're going to go ahead and go on to D. Darrell. Thank you so much, D. Darrell. And thank you so much, Manosphere. Obviously, guys, I said thank you just as a courtesy. I'm not, obviously I know it's very contradicting to what I believe and what we say here. Manosphere obviously believes something, right? But
what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, give me just 1 second now. So apparently, this guy's using my mom's name now. This is just crazy. This dude's using my mom's name now. Right. I don't know if this is true or not. If somebody can say this is true, I'd appreciate it. But this is unfortunate at this point that things are getting this far. Right. This is just crazy. This is just crazy. Go ahead, D. Darrell. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to just kind of look at this situation. Just looking at you, I've kind of seen how you have evolved. I've watched you on and off. I remember, when you had 20, 30, 40 people. I watched you from the clouds a lot. I didn't necessarily come out. Very few times that I actually go into the chat, although there are a lot of people that do support you. There are also people that support me, or they support my platform. Actually, one of my subscribers actually asked, could I, come in, check you out, see what's been going on. And I have to say this to you, brother. This is unfortunately, this is a part of YouTube. That is a dark side of YouTube. And it is pretty much perpetuated by people who don't have a life outside of YouTube. And I've actually had beefs and issues with these same two people that you are talking about. And the thing about it, they don't have the, to me, they have no place to dox anybody. I've been doxed. A lot of people have been doxxed. Unfortunately, that's a dark side. You have to be prepared for that. I mean, you should not be surprised, especially if you've been in the manosphere. You should not be surprised that something would happen at some point. This happens to a lot of people as sort of I hate to say it, a sort of a baptism into you realizing that you are saying some things that people don't like, or they see your popularity, they see your, that you're progressing and so forth. That's just part of it. And I'm not saying it's right. I would advise you, just saying I would advise you not to get in a back and forth with Taz and Nala, because this is all they have. I mean, you have a career, you have other things I guess you're doing, so forth. You're looking to progress. If they didn't have YouTube, they wouldn't have anything. So you have to understand that when you're dealing with people with the type of records that they have no skills. They have nothing that they can bring to the black community but effery. So you get into it. You can only do so much with them, but I mean, I would not get in the mud with them. I've gotten into some little situations, but I don't with them, particularly Taz. But I would not do anything where I'm constantly going back and forth with them, because I have things. I have too many other things going on in my real life. I don't have time to do 10 hours of content a day like his brother does. He has to do this to make money. If he doesn't do this, if he doesn't engage in this, he's broke. He's hungry. He doesn't have anything else. So you have to understand, you can't. It's not wise to go against people that are desperate in that way and destitute. They have no other means of eating. So it would be very difficult for someone, particularly in the insurance industry, that is very time consuming, to basically take away time just so you can start researching and editing and doing the kind of content that they do all day, every day. Only a person with no job, or YouTube is basically their career, has the time to do that. Now, I'm gonna say this: as I have watched and critiqued some of your content, because I've actually did a show about you that I kind of had some issues. And my issues with you is the fact that I think that in your articulation of a lot of things about black men, I think that some of those things, as far as some of the statistical stuff, were a bit misleading. I do think that that could have been a bit more balance in that. I'm not saying, because I'm in the manosphere, been in and out of the manosphere, but I am not liked by 90% of the people there. There's only a handful of people in the manosphere that like me, and so forth. So I understand your position as far as people going at you and so forth and saying different things about you and so forth. But from my position, like for instance, one thing that particularly turned me off was when you did a show which you kind of specified that black men kept black women in slavery or something of that sort. It was I don't remember exactly, but it was on the lines of something like that. And we started talking about the African slave trade, different things like that. And I'm like, come on, brother, that is just grossly incorrect. That is historically unvalidated. You to say something like that could be a bit misleading, and it's just not historically factual. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the I think there were some things like that I was like, okay, I think I get where you're going with the group that you're basically doing content for, but at the same time, you still are a black man.
Right.
And so
we'll go ahead and wrap it up really quickly, D-Darrell. We got some other people, but no, I appreciate you, man. No.
Yeah. So my thing is that I hate that this had to happen to you. I wish the best for you. I would like to see some more balance, but that's just me. You can do your channel how you like, but I do want to support you through this, because I don't want to see anybody when people take stuff to real life that rubs me the wrong way. But hey, good luck in your endeavors, man, and just hey, keep up what you're doing, and whatever route you want to take, you got my blessings. Peace.
Dang, appreciate that, Diderot. Thank you, man. We're gonna go ahead and bring up the next person. I think DH Danielson. DH, you were next. DH Danielson, go ahead. The floor is yours.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
What's going on, DH?
I hear that Nyla and Taz dox you.
Yeah, they did. What did you think about that?
What I think about it is that they need to be in prison. You want me to dox them on this trip?
No. Don't dox them. I appreciate it, but I thank you for your concern. I appreciate that. Okay.
I got your back.
All right. No, thank you, DH.
I'm a good white friend to you.
All right. Thank you for being a good white friend, DH. I appreciate your concern.
You want to come on my panel?
No, not this time, but I'm gonna take you down for now, but we'll talk to you soon. All right. That was DH Danielson. Thank you, DH Danielson, for his concern. Volcano Sensation said you doxed them first. I don't know if y'all understand what doxing them and doxing means. Doxing is for the most part giving a location as to where you are. Now, obviously, it can be a revelation of your name or some other personal sensitive information or whatever it could be, right? For the most part, doxing has to do with the location. Locational revelation. At least that's what I think, right? So I didn't dox them first and foremost. Secondly, the issue about me doxing them first, I don't even know about. I don't know anything about their background or their history. Everything that I know about their background and history, I've been told by the people that know about their background and history. I don't know anything about their background and history, right? I'm new to this space. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't dox anybody first, nor would I dox anybody. If you're talking about the super chat, that's referring to him and his domestic violence history. That was a community member on the channel who donated it. So, boy, bye. The floor is yours, boy, bye. Go ahead. Boy, bye. We'll call you once, and boy, bye. We'll call you twice. Boy, bye might be experiencing connection issues. All right, we'll take boy bye down for now. Volcano said you talked about his record. I didn't talk about his record. I clicked on a super chat and somebody commented about his domestic violence record. I didn't even read the super chat before I clicked on it. I just clicked on it because it was a $20 or $10 super chat, like I've done with all the super chats. Right? I didn't dox them. Somebody brought in his record. Even then, doxing would be bringing in his actual record that would have his address online, or that have this, or would have that, which I didn't do anyways. Right? I don't know how you stand up for people who literally. I'm not going to even say that. I know why, which is something we're going to talk about in the future. Right? We're going to start having these conversations. We have to start having these conversations now. Now there's no choice. Kenzo, we can keep talking about black men that are violent against black women. We can, but and now the question starts to become, what about the black women that are violent against black men? What about the black women that are violent against, right? We have to start addressing, and we're not going to really go that heavy or that deep into it, but we have to start being completely honest. I want there to start becoming dialogue or discourse on this channel, because what I don't want to start happening is I don't want this to start becoming an echo chamber of just complete hatred and despair, right? And I think that's what's happening on both sides of the fence here. We have this side where all black women are evil, and the other side where all black men are evil. And it's like, pick a side, choose a side. And you can't be in any type of small space in between there. And if you don't pick a side and go all the way to one side, then either you're whatever, a coon, or you're a sellout, or whatever it might be, right? And we need to start having conversations about the grievous error of being too far to the one side or the other, because that seems to be the big problem right now, the balance or lack thereof. Lex Vortex, welcome to the panel. Good to see you in here, man. Repping the peaceful life. I feel you, man. I feel you. What did you think about the entire conversation? The doxing, my entire life being out there. Was it fair? Was it wrong? Or what did you think about the topic of conversation as far as starting to have an equal conversation, right, between men and women?
Yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly, man.
Yeah, man. That's what I want to come on here and comment on. Because I've been talking about that a lot on my show that this gender war that Taz and Nyla, they're very evil people because what Taz does is he's feeding the negativity of hurt women. You know what I'm saying? I call him the Jim Jones of the feminazis. So, and what I'm saying is there is a imbalance on both sides, whether you talk about the whole Cynthia G black woman blaming a black man, like you said, and the Manosphere kind of does the same thing. But I think the Manosphere is a little bit more tasteful in the way they do it. But you're absolutely right. I mean, because here's what it comes down to. Black men and black women are not going nowhere without each other. And we have problems. And the reason why we have problems, everyone knows there's historical issues, political issues, psychological issues, systematic issues. But when did we start this whole thing where not only do we have a system to fight and other things to deal with in the world, the last thing we need is a gender war and a fake gender war. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's a very evil thing that like Taz, and I watched some of the things he did on you. He's a troll, brother. And he's making money off of hurt women, and he's feeding them the Kool-Aid they want to hear. And it's a really evil thing. So let's just say you can do that with any group of people who have been damaged. I could go, just like to black men who've been hurt by women or they've been cheated on or they have problems with their baby's mother. If I open a show and start talking about how black women do this and do that and center my whole show around the pain that black women have caused black men, I'll have thousands of people tuning in every day because I'm feeding the holes that's been created in their soul. And that's what Taz is. He is a devil, and he's become the face of feminism and the feminazis. Do you know they actually have had conversations over there with this dude Taz and Nyla about aborting black male babies?
Yeah, that seemed to be the big thing. That's the topic of conversation. And was it Sinji that said that, or did Nyla say that, or what?
Well, I think Cynthia G said it along with them, but then they were actually rationalizing and acting like it was an actual option for black women and something that can actually be a solution to the so-called problems that went with each other. Because they were saying, well, basically they were saying black men are just born dumb and they're going to grow up and hate black women and become rapists and murderers and killers and all this. So why not practice a good form of eugenics? So if you get pregnant by a black man, just abort the baby before it's born. You know what I'm saying? And they were actually rationalizing this conversation. Yes, you see what I'm saying? So, it's a terrible thing. You know what I'm saying? On both sides of the fence, brother. So I wouldn't really let the dude Taz get to you because he roams around looking for content to appease his mindless feminazis. You know what I'm saying? Listen, no healthy people talk like this. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we got issues, they got issues, but we accrue these issues together, and the only way we're gonna solve them is together. So why would someone come along and feed one side and be so heavily, acting like, and I think karma's gonna come back to them, brother. So I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't worry about them. He's trolling you because listen, I didn't know too much about your show, but when stuff started going in, I started tuning in. But when a content creator is a fake and it is marketing towards certain people's hurt and pain, because find another subject on that dude's channel outside of posting news articles of another black man has murdered this person, another black man has raped this woman, how terrible black men are. So you're just feeding a certain demographic. You see what I'm saying? So that's marketing. And these hurt, lost, mindless women are paying him to do this. So it's no different from a fake pastor in the church, brother.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Lex. And definitely, you got a channel up, you said? How do we find that channel?
My channel's called the High Elevation Network. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. I've actually done multiple streams about, Taz. I call them ass abusive and the feminazis and what they represent. And the message I really want to give, you know what I'm saying? And thanks for allowing me to put the plug in, man. Check out the High Elevation Network. Is that, listen, black men and black women do not fall in either polarized category. You know what I'm saying? What they say on the manosphere, there's truth there. What they say in the feminazi sphere, there's truth there. But it's not a solution. It's no way to deal with each other. They're only feeding more toxic energy. And the sad thing about it, a lot of the people that are doing this, especially on the Taz and Nyla side, the evil couple, they're like a generation that's done. These people, a lot of us are like 40 plus, and the youngsters are not even really dealing with this dynamic. But just imagine a young girl who may have just been recently hurt by a boyfriend or something, or, and then she tunes into Cynthia G and Nyla and Taz. You see what I'm saying? That's the dangers of what they're doing that could affect the youth. And the same thing with like a Tommy Sotomayor and some people on the manosphere. When people get hurt, they become very susceptible to toxic information. So I say, both sides need to stop in terms of pointing a finger and pointing the blame. You're not going nowhere without me. I'm not going nowhere without you. We need each other to produce and maintain like any biological species on this planet. So that's all I got to say, brother. Shout out to you, Honest Truth. Check out the High Elevation Network. I'm going to keep tuning into your show, brother. I like what you're doing. And, ignore that troll, man. He's a sucker, man. Trust me.
I appreciate that, Lex Vortex. Thanks for joining the channel once again, ladies and gentlemen. Give it a reach, give it a view, give it a shout out, give it a listen. The High Elevation. Forgive me, y'all just heard him say it. My memory is trash. I'm trash. I appreciate that. I think that was a good word. I think that there was a lot of good said right there, and I agree with a lot of that. Right. So give him a look. Check him out, man. Check him out. I'm reading a lot of the comments here. I saw a $5 super chat. I didn't want to interrupt Lex while he was saying it, but Majestic Butterfly for $5 says, admit you play divested women, including Cerebral embarrassed yourself coming onto your platform. Your pandering backfired. I'm not trying to play divested women. I feel horrible if women feel like I played them. I really do. I'd feel absolutely horrible. And I hope that, and I've spoken with and kind of covered a lot of grounds and bases as far as talking and discussing how a lot of people who came onto the platform are doing and feeling, because obviously it was intense for a lot of people. So I'm making sure that I check in the background and make sure that everybody's doing okay. All right. Boy Bye is back onto the panel. Boy Bye, welcome back onto the panel. What did you want to say as far as the gender war or me being canceled once and for all? Boy Bye, are you able? We're not hearing you. I'm not sure if you can hear us or if you can hear me right now. But I can't hear you. So Boy Bye, forgive me for taking you down again. I didn't think Cerebral embarrassed herself either, Kenzo Lee. I think that I think that Cerebral knows how to handle herself more so than a lot of us, right? And so I didn't feel like she did. However, I still felt bad that might have even been a possibility. So I apologized to her, and I feel bad that would have even been the talk of the town, right? So I know I'll stop saying the trash, y'all. My bad. No more trash. Right. No more trash. Somebody sent me a message, and I want to thank anybody that's also sent me a message or email and reached out during this time. I had a lot of people that reached out, sent me a message, sent me an email, checked up on me. Y'all mean the world. And Um, yeah. So I'm telling. I just had a message sent to me saying that they're threatening to show my address and where I live and everything like that. Once again, I'll just tell Taz, if you want my address, I'll just give you my address directly. You can come right over to my apartment. There's no need to dox or put it online. I'll give you my address if you want my address. Right. Taz, you can email me. I know they're watching right now. Taz, you can email me. thehonestTruthYT@gmail.com. And if you want my address, I'll give you my address. And you can record it. You can come on down. No problems. No problems. Record it. Come on down. Pay me a visit. Right. If you want my address. So. CJJ says, why would I give him my address? I prefer to give him my address versus him leaking it online or versus him putting it online. So I prefer to just meet up with him in person before he decides to put it online for the rest of the world to see. Not to mention, he might not even have the right address, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm concerned. I want him to have the right address. Bianca Brown says, dude, you are so fake, it's unreal. Can feel it from you. Bye, Bianca. Aloria says, this is what black folks waste their resources on, ladies and gentlemen. This is not how oppressed people behave, victims of no one. It's an interesting comment. Tony Morrison says he's going to leak it online anyways. Yeah, he most likely will. Stark, man. Lin, welcome to the live stream, Lin. Good to see you again. The floor is yours, Lin. I know we brought you up quick. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, I hope you're doing well tonight. I'm hearing like an echo on my end. I don't know if that's.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Make sure that you're listening on StreamYard and not on YouTube. That should help. Well, you know, Lin, you've been here. Hopefully you're not
Okay,
hearing
is this
too much.
better?
Yeah. You sound perfect, at least on my end.
Okay, so I'll continue on.
Okay.
I just wanted to add some positivity. I mean, it's nice to see some of the guys coming on and showing the support. And I just want to let all of the dudes watching who are thinking that this is the end. It's not the end. This kind of reminds me of what some of the other content creators went through. Like Pink Pill went through this doxing situation, and a few other content creators like had the same situation happen because obviously we're dealing with a very toxic community. But you're still my favorite panda bear. I said it in the chat.
I appreciate you, Lillian.
So we're still here. And anyone saying I told you so, X, Y, and Z, like at the end of the day, the people who see your heart, and this too shall pass. So I just want to send you lots of love and positivity tonight. And
I appreciate
this too
that,
shall pass.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Lyndon. Thank you so much. Great compliments, super warm words. I really appreciate that. And we'll see Lyndon again soon. You can stay in the background or you can hop down, Lyndon. It's up to you. But I appreciate that. I see a lot of y'all's comments, and a lot of the comments will be answered most likely by somebody else in the comments. Lady Biz says this is so divisive. Over a debate? Question mark. Yeah, I mean, that's what that side feels like they have to do, right? They feel like because I doxed them that they need to dox me as well, right? That's what they feel like. Yeah, Classic Ruby, I've mentioned plenty of times. You know, I've even done live streams on it, and the live streams I've done have old videos of me as well. If you want to check them out, they're funny, interesting, and trippy. You know, tripped out watching me in an older form, in a much different train of thought. I think the first one is addressing Kevin Samuels and the haters, and then there's another video where I addressed the cancellation of this channel, right? So I think this is the second or third time right now. Right, second or third time right now. Yeah, I know, guys. I know they're watching right now. I mean, I hate that it has to be just so divided, but it just, you know, so many people really, I don't know, they really just think that, you know, I didn't dox anybody. I didn't dox anybody at all. I simply read a comment that, you know, he didn't agree with. I simply read a comment he did not agree with whatsoever. And like I said, I wouldn't dox anybody anyways. I wouldn't put their information out there in public. If he gave me his information and I really wanted to go see him that badly, I would just go over there and go see him. Yeah, right. If he wanted my information, then I'd give it to him and he could just come over and see me. I would never post or dox anybody. That's not my thing. If I have something going on with somebody behind the scenes, then I'm not going to put it online. Like, I'm about to just go see him personally. If I really have a problem with somebody, the last thing I'm gonna do is put it online, because if something bad happens to the person, now I'm gonna get in trouble for it. I'm not gonna do that. That's just stupid. Gordon Desir, go ahead. The floor is yours, Gordon.
Hey, how you been, bro?
Hey, I'm doing good, Gordon. How's everything going with you, man?
Going good. Hey, you terrible
Good,
at
man.
answers. I've been calling you behind. What's been going on?
You said what?
I said you've been terrible, man. Been answering call, man. Everything okay with you, man?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I've been good. You know, busy with everything going on. You said you've been reaching out to me on Instagram or something?
Yeah, just to try to check on you, see everything's okay with you ever since that incident, since they tried to expose you and everything, you know. But
Oh yeah, man.
to be honest,
I'm not on
to
Instagram like that. I'm not on Instagram like that. But just send me an email next time, bro. I usually see my email a little bit more than I see the Instagram, bro.
yeah, sure. To be honest with you, truth, man. Those videos they posted there, it's really nothing new under the sun. It's like those videos you showed us to us already. You
Hmm.
already explained what you are, you know. So I was like, I really don't see any difference because you already explained. You already gave your testimony, and when they expose that, it's like, all right, nothing to show. But look, man, all I can tell you is, man, I'm glad you're okay, and just continue what you're doing. Like I always said, keep fighting the good fight, and don't worry about what other people say. All I know is that just ignore them. If they can't
Yeah,
have an adult conversation with you, just keep on moving. Because if they want to act like a fool, you treat them like a fool. So use the art of ignoring, and that's it. Because you don't have time for it. So if they can't have an adult conversation, it's no point of talking. So just continue moving forward, man. And we'll talk more on the phone, bro. You take care.
absolutely. I appreciate that, Gordon. Thank you. Yeah, you know, I try to talk with dude on the phone, but the conversations never seem to quite go anywhere with them, you know. So we'll see. Look at a couple of y'all's comments. Um, Eve says THT, you're trying to reason with vipers. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Smart Cookie says they're sad grandparents. Their grandchildren are going to be so ashamed. Alice says, funny they call us mammies. They're the ones. They're the ones mammy for YouTube, man. Sorry, they invited a YouTube man to their profile while married to a black man. Oh, a white man. I'm sorry. They invited a white man to their profile while married to a black man. His wife is a mammy. Nyla Mammy says, Alice, that is a very tough to read comment there. But I appreciate that. I think I pretty got what you were saying there. Thank you, Alice. Yeah, it's kind of like who. I mean, if we're gonna be blaming us, everybody's got to be to blame. Then nobody's right if this is the case, right? Nobody's right if this is the case. Everybody's got a background. Everybody's done something. If we're going to hold one person by the background, then we got to hold the other person by the background. Who's perfect? He who is perfect cast the first stone, as the great book said, right? He who is perfect casts the first stone. If you're not a Bible reader, if you're not a Christian person, that means that if you haven't done anything wrong in your life, then you're going to be the one to judge other people. You're the judge, right? It's never been about the money for me. I hate that it has to be about the money, about the crowd, about the this person, about this person, this person. I hate that real life has to end up being affected by these types of people, by these types of horrible people. I would never talk about Taz's mother. I would never talk about Nyla's mother. I would never talk about any of their family members. I would never talk about any kind of anything. I would never put that kind of information out, whatever it might be. Right? That's just not how it handle that situation. Whenever I have a problem with somebody, I keep that problem between just me and that person. But I don't know. That's just how the issues that I've dealt with in the streets and the times that I've had issues to deal with, that's just how those issues were dealt with. It was just me and that person. It wasn't anybody's family. It wasn't anybody's job. If I wanted that person, then I found that person, or that person found me, or that person knew where to find me. We didn't go around chasing people through innocence or through anybody else. You got a problem with somebody, then go find them. Just starting up stuff, smart cookie, just starting up stuff. Trying to dox subscribers, trying to put subscribers' information out there. I had subscribers email me. I had subscribers call me and say, "Oh, they're talking about me. They're making fun of me. They're trying to figure out my name now." Subscribers, people that aren't even YouTubers. I mean, really, dude? You're trying to figure out where people live now? Who does that? And then they'll reason with it. See, he's trying to make it seem like we're trying to make it like he's not the one that doxed us first. So when we're putting out where he lives, that's just in response to doxing us first. 50-50. Equal response for an equal action. Somebody hits you, you can't pull out a gun. Well, in some states, you can pull out a gun and shoot them. Actually, technically, you can. I guess it determines the state A and the reason why they hit you, right? But you can't just shoot somebody, right, and claim self-defense. There has to be a certain amount of situations. There has to be certain stipulations. There has to be certain things that happen in order for you to claim self-defense before you shoot that person. Now, it's a viable defense, yes, but you can't just shoot somebody and say, "I feared for my life." It's going to be an investigation. They're going to figure out what happened. All right. This is kind of what happens in this fear. They just kind of say things without necessarily, right. Then they're like, "Oh, well, YouTube, classic Ruby. YouTube and content creators dox people in real life just for YouTube. Get this right. YouTube, we're talking about something on your cell phones, will make other people want to reveal who your parents, who your family members, where you work, where your real life situations and day-to-day activities are. This starts on YouTube, an app on your phone. Be very observant. These are the people that roam among us. With friends like that, you better make sure when you have friends like this, they don't become your enemies. This is how situations happen. Very quickly. I've seen it. Regina, welcome to the stream, Regina. It's good to see you again. I know you still might have had a couple questions from last time. It's 1:14 in the morning in Atlanta. 1:14 in the morning. Getting late. Sorry about the late stream, y'all. Getting late. I've heard some subscribers, Lil Deb, say they're trying to dox them as subscribers in the channel. People who donate to the channel frequently, they're under attack. So I'm not sure. Take that for what you will. This is just what I've heard. I'm not sure. Regina, go ahead. The floor is yours. Your thoughts and your ideas on tonight's live stream. My past history, present, or my future.
Hello again. How are you doing?
Hey, Regina. I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Good.
I was obviously there during that live, and I saw how everything went down. It was just very, like I said before, disappointing. Once again, just proving my previous thoughts correct, that there is toxicity in both men and women in the Black community, and it's very frustrating because I'm a young woman, obviously, and to see these adults who are supposedly the people I have to look up to, it's very scary.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it. I can't imagine these children my age or younger seeing these men act like just like space scouts, and they're supposedly on our side, but yet they're doxing people, they're cussing and yelling just like the supposedly bad person that we're not trying to be like in our community. I don't see the difference, and it's scary. If this is who we deem as masculine in our community, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. That's, I think that's a big point to kind of take away. It's like, geez, if this is what the solution is, then like, dang, like this is it. If this is it. I'm not saying anybody's perfect, but I think you're bringing a great point, young lady. I think you're bringing in a great point. Regina, I appreciate you calling in. Were there any final words that you had, or anything else you wanted to say before we go ahead and move on? But I really appreciate that point. You're spot on the money. And I appreciated the point that you had last stream as well. I thought that was you.
Yes.
And I remember what you said last stream, and that is that the adults seem to be just more like children the older we get, right?
Yes. No, I think that's about it. At this moment, I just maybe something else. They said that you're pandering for the Black women. If that was the fact, then you would have kept going. You would do what Taz is doing. He's the one that's pandering, I feel. If you were pandering, like, just it don't make sense. At the end of the day, it just doesn't make any sense. Their logic is flawed. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And don't let them bring you down, because you know you're doing right if they're constantly trying to bring you down.
I appreciate that, Regina. Very kind words, great compliment, and once again, a really, 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 really great perspective and dialogue that you gave over with us. So thank you so much for calling in. We'll see you on the next one, okay?
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Regina.
Have a good night.
You too. All right. I appreciate that. Always good to hear from Regina. Always good to hear from Regina. Yes, that one is in the background. Yes, that one. If you could unmute yourself, we're going to go ahead and begin to bring you up. I appreciate that. Yes, that one. The floor is yours. What did you think about this entire discussion? I'm not sure how long you've been watching or if you know much about it going on right now, but what did you think about this right now? The gender war, my previous history, or the divestment war, if you will.
Yeah, I actually know a lot about what's going on. I'm trying to understand, why are you having this sympathy, pity type of party when you actually are guilty of everything that you actually said and what Taz has said. He has not doxed you. He has not done anything to you except for use your own words against you.
He hasn't doxed me. Do you know what doxing is? Unmute yourself.
No, I'm saying no. Nobody has doxed you. You put your information on Facebook, and then you want to turn around and try to blame him because your information is out there. How does that make sense?
My information on Facebook is on a private profile, right? A private profile. So if I wanted everybody in the
It's
world to have
private
that,
now, but it was public.
it wasn't public. And here's my thing. Even if it was public and I wanted that information to be on YouTube, I would put that information on YouTube myself, but it was private. I'm telling you it was private. But even if it was public, that's not the information that I would want on YouTube. So since it's technically my information, because it's my identity, then my identity can be where my identity desires for me to have it at, right? So that's my thing there. Okay. But doxing quite literally is identifying somebody's either workplace, address, real name, whatever it might be. That's the general idea. Now, most of us don't want our real names online, i.e., why you have, yes, that one as your online moniker. Why did you choose that? Because you don't want your real name. Now, let's just say that I've happened to find that same yellow and orange butterfly picture that you have right now as your online avatar, and I found a Facebook page that had the same picture, and I saw a person that I thought might have matched the same voice, and however just unfathomably conceivable the situation might be. Let's say I found your online profile and it was public. And I said, hey, I think I found that lady that I spoke to a long time ago. This is her profile. It's public. And she works here. And she likes watching these people, these people, these people. Now, you may mind, you may not mind. It may bother you. It may not bother you at all. But the simple fact that you have an online Facebook profile, which I'm willing to bet that you do, willing to bet more likely you do. If you don't, hey, you're not a part of the majority. Majority of us have Facebook, since there are like 6 billion Facebook accounts. I'm willing to bet that you probably do have the same Facebook profile that I have. So if we use the situation in just a bit of a different circumstance or situation or tone, it starts to become a bit different, because now obviously we're talking about you. Once again, you might not care, but not everybody thinks like you think. So you might not think that's doxing, but to some people that is. But once again, what is doxing? Well, in this case, going back to your username, why are you not using your real name?
But
Right?
I'm not a user. I'm not trying to use anybody to get anybody's sympathy, to get super chats or whatever it is that you think that you're doing over there. Your information has been used against you based off of things that you said. Nobody's putting words into anybody's mouth.
And
You actually talked about.
I have nothing wrong with the words that I've said being brought up. I have no problem with that. It's where I work, the location that I work at. It's the names
Okay, so where's the
of
proof that
locations.
where's the proof that they actually gave out your information? Do you have the proof?
It's on the live stream. It's on their live stream. Have you not
On
watched
their
Nyla's
live
live stream?
stream that they actually said that where you work. You said where you work, bruh. Nobody said anything about where you work.
Why would
We didn't
I
even know you
identify it?
worked at State Farm. How would your job like it that you had
I don't
space
work at
go
State
perp
Farm.
fuck wherever the fuck you work, nigga? How would you like it?
All right, so it's obvious that she's drunk, right? So I mean, it's obvious she's drunk, but that doesn't even make any sense right there, right? But once again, we need to start being honest here about the type of people that we're talking about right now, right? The type of people that we're talking about right now. Hey, listen, not every guy's a good guy. Not every guy's a bad guy. Not every girl's a good girl. Not every girl's a bad girl, right? We're going to start having these conversations going forward. And once again, y'all, yeah, she's definitely drunk. She's definitely drunk. So you got to kind of take that to a certain extent, right? Take it with a grain of salt there. Right. I don't think that's Nyla, y'all. I'm seeing that. These are their followers. These are their followers, right? And once again, I'm not going to try and carry a serious conversation with her, but who we talking about? I mean, just kind of, focusing on action, upset. Not quite sure where we're going, right? But hey, Sherelle said I took a 2-week break from all this shit. Welcome back, Sherelle. It's gotten even worse. It's gotten even worse. We're going to start to have these conversations. We have to start having these conversations. We got to start talking about the reality of our situations. Got to start talking about the reality of our situations. A lot of guys might have had, situations. Some guys might have had situations. A few guys might have had situations where they really did run into a woman like this and they had a very, very, very bad outcome to the situations. I can see and understand how that could be a possibility now for you. I still do. I understand. Having said that, does it mean that becoming a manosphere guy, living a life of hatred, living a life of cursing women, saying that women are just all unloyal, that they're going to cheat on you, that certain people, certain groups, certain races of women are just this, certain groups of women are that, certain groups, does it mean that that's the answer for you? No, not at all. But can there be certain things that you can and will need help for, as far as emotional stability, help, regeneration, healing, and things of that nature from going through a relationship with a bad woman? Yeah. I think it's pretty clear and obvious, right? I think it's pretty clear and obvious that there's some women out there that can The Manosphere is watching this right now, and they're really getting a big kick out of this. They're loving every single second they see of this. The Manosphere is watching what's happening right now, and they're just eating like popcorn out of a bucket with their feet up in the air, like the Logic Sphere was, laughing, joking. Oh man, you got to keep up the act so you can keep on pandering, right? They're laughing and they're getting their fill of this, because essentially what's happening right now is what they always claim women, and Black women in particular, are going to do. Now they see y'all supporting, they'll see other people support, but they're also going to see the almost 100,000 Black women that do support, right, a certain group or a certain sector, the almost 400, 500,000, subscriber base of women that do support. And so when you start to once again have discussions and arguments or whatever it might be, it can be turned or used as a negative against a lot of the talking points that you might have as a Black woman, a BWE content creator, or a Black femicide type awareness content creator. When you start to have other content creators that portray you in a truly bad image. If a guy really does want to change and he was a terrible person and he actually does change, then that's great. He changed. He's a he's a good person now. He used to be a bad person. I'd rather have a good person personally in society than a bad person. I understand they did bad things. A, we can't change that as much. B, what are they like now? Are they going to continue to do bad things? No. Are they going to do bad things but maybe a little less bad? Hey, that's good too, right? That's good too. We can life's a journey, right? They're not going to become perfect, right? I understand that. Life's a journey. We all need work. But at the same period, there's no time that I would ever tell somebody, hey, you used to be Manosphere, so you need to just stick with the Manosphere and stick to talking about Black women because you're not legitimate. Like I said, if we're going to forgive somebody for doing one thing, then we got to forgive somebody for doing another thing as well. Still, layers to the forgiveness. Layers to the forgiveness. All right. And Mode says we're watching Manosphere train wrecks too. Yeah, I think so. For sure. For sure. Stand with the right says he called women bitches. Smart Cookie says, how can you believe someone you don't know even who their real name is? Yeah, I mean, his real name's not Taz, I can tell you that much. So whoever the lady was that was somewhat incoherent, saying Taz didn't even dox you. Yeah, doxing is telling people or other people your real name against their will. That's the general idea. Where they work, where they live. You know the general story. Taz's real name isn't Taz, obviously, right? But I'm not going to dox him and give his real name. Tony Morrison, Mammy number 2. Y'all are great. Truth, it's time to let this go. You've been extremely patient, apologetic, and kind, but verbal abuse from remedial drunkards is beyond the pale. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to wrap this thing up. I'm just reading a few more comments. We're going to wrap this thing up, definitely. Listen, we got more coming up, more content. The content is just going to get crazier. I mean, if y'all could see what I have that's getting ready to come and happen as far as content can go, it's going to be wild, man. It's going to be cranked up. And once again, these conversations are going to start to, diverge a bit, right? We're going to start to have more conversations. Once again, the content's going to change. Settings going to change. It's going to cost a little bit, but settings going to change. And yeah. So I want to thank everybody. I know you stood for a long time, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Build on this situation for sure. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the support for everybody that's, come out, for everybody that's curious, for everybody that's watching this in the replay, for everybody that's watching this and you haven't been able to comment, you're at work, you're on break, wherever you are right now. I want to thank you for commenting, watching, and moving forward with me and in life. Certain people want to always hold you back. There are certain things in life that always want to try and hold you back. Certain people always want to try and hold you back. A, because they're either scared of what your potential is. B, because they're scared of you. They're jealous of you. They're threatened by you. C, D, E, N, and whatever. There's a myriad of reasons why people want to hold you back. They don't want to see you do well. But the biggest reason to do well is to A, do well for yourself, but B, so you can do well. So once you do well for yourself, you can help others do well for themselves as well. And I'm happy that I'm doing well. I'm happy to be able to be here with y'all. And the party's going to keep rolling. Dislikes are going to keep coming in. I see y'all talking about the dislikes. Do whatever you need to do, right, on YouTube to make your life better, right? But just understand that offline and online, the choices that you make, both in your past and in present, are going to have real life consequences. That goes for everybody in this world, right? The choices you make both on and offline have real life consequences. I wish everybody the best night. Start thinking about self-defense if you are a lady. Start thinking about self-defense if you are in a crime-ridden environment or area, and start thinking about self-defense, period, because there's a lot of wild people out here. Start thinking about that as we go forward with our work week. It is officially hump day. I appreciate that. I'm trying to be as much of a rock star as possible. I appreciate y'all for being patient with me, for forgiving me. I appreciate that for please promise me you'll never address these people on YouTube again. We'll trash your brand and your potential. I appreciate that, but Unicorn. I got the comments. I got the emails. A lot of y'all didn't want me to talk about this to begin with, but I felt like I needed to. I felt like I had to a little bit. Listen, this is a battle, a metaphorical war. There's enemies on all different fronts. Guard yourself, guard your personal identity. Let my life, let my and other content creators' lives who are watching right now be an example to you to understand that this is online, but this can carry real life consequences. And even though I might be able to weather the storm at this particular moment in time, it can carry other consequences for a wide array of people, right? So that's going to be it. True Seekers Live podcast. I'm going to see you on the next one. We'll be back in a couple of days, if not tomorrow. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Good night.